So when you said that this is in response to the treatment that men have been getting from women, that would include their mothers too, right?
Why wouldn't it? It doesn't
Okay.
come up directly in conversations. This is another reason why. I mean, I have my own criticisms of manosphere type conversation and all, but
Also, you can post the StreamYard link in your chat if you wanted to.
all right, will do.
Mhm.
I have my issues with it, but I think sometimes we don't bring up enough factors. We almost always focus on the romantic interplay between male and female, whereas
Mhm.
my general position is that this is not a problem of romance. This is a problem of structural, like societal structural issues. There's government and societal norms that have kind of shifted over time to put more weight on one side of the equation than the other.
Got you. And then and handling that, balancing that, this is why men need to not this is something that I've always said. This is why men need to focus on iron and sharpen iron, right? How it is that we need to better ourselves, regardless of what the women say or do. What they say about us as men, how they treat us as men, that has nothing to do with how it is that we move as men. That's always been my position on it.
Not sure what you're implying in that statement. What are you getting at?
That regardless of what the feminists say, regardless of the feminine men say, regardless of how it is that they talk about us as men, I'm not including us as black men just yet because that part wasn't even discussed in the documentary. That was the crazy part. But how it is that the world view us as men, that has no effect on me because either I'm gonna get it or I'm gonna go make it happen, regardless of how that works. Because not every woman is a feminist and not every man is a effeminate man. Not everybody is going to treat you a certain type of way just because you're a man. It may be presumed that way, but that goes back to that concept that this is just a barrier that men are creating around themselves because they think that all the women or the world is out to get them. Would you say that that's a fair assessment?
I would argue it's not totally untrue.
Elaborate, please.
Why does the NBA have like a specific training course for their young ballers about groupies? What is that about?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to basketball too much, to be honest with you.
And I would argue this is a sports wide. This is just in the major sporting world in general. Once you have young men with millions of dollars of money at play, they become targets of women. And so it's counterintuitive to think that some little old creature with breast and a vagina is somehow threatening to your reality as a man. But in the modern world, more men are taken down by women than by, bandits on the highway.
This is true. I'm not going to disagree with you that, but I would think that points back to a character flaw on how it is that men are just willing to sow their seeds anywhere and we're just willing to get in any relationship that comes across. Just because they throw pussy at you, doesn't mean you got to take it. Just because
Fair
they throw,
enough.
and the thing is, like, this is a lot of this is where this is how I can't say I'm not manosphere and I'm not red pill because I'm not. Just because something is offered to me does not mean I have to take it. And I get how people say, yeah, but women. Hey, bro, listen. Every piece of ass and tits that walk past you ain't for you.
No,
even if it look nice.
That's fair. And if I was being, completely honest and getting all the way to the conclusion without walking through the steps, I would argue the ultimate solution to this all is male discipline, because no one's going to save you, and no one is really, people aren't primed to see men as victims anyway. So you have to discipline yourself to save yourself from this, but you're not saving yourself from your own predatory nature. You're saving yourself from the predatory nature of women empowered by government.
Right. That part I don't disagree with you about. But the thing is this, and this is another position that I have. When you say women empowered by government, I don't care what form of empowerment they think they have. What was showed in this documentary to me, and what has been shown over the years, is that women aren't empowered by the government. They're just used by the government. That's what I've been
saying I don't care in a conversation or debate is a linguistic cop-out. You don't have to care. Do I care about rain? I'm still wet. Do I care about sun? I still have sunburn. Saying you don't care is a cop-out.
Well, the good thing is one, I still don't care, and two, when it comes to women being empowered by the government, I don't think women are empowered by the government. I think women are used by the government.
Well,
That's why I say I don't care what the feminists say.
there's an interplay. They're definitely empowered, but the government maybe has its own reason for empowering them that has nothing to do with the female's individual drive. These two things can be true at the same time, moving in a parallel direction. But at the same, even in that, you are not disproving the fact that women's hand has been overcharged in the modern realm.
No, I don't disagree with you on that, especially since like the 50s, right? Matter of fact, I
So
would even go back.
what are the consequences of that then?
The consequences of that is that you have weak men, that you have you have a group of men who are lost within the sauce. You have a group of men who believe that they belong on the bottom and that they don't think they will succeed just because they're a male. That's what I think what the consequence is. And then how that bleeds over into society is you have a lot of men who would even go along with all of the feminist narratives that they push. You would literally produce a society of weak men, which is a lot of what's been going on lately.
And so when you started out this conversation, you brought up something that I challenged you on, which was this concept of extreme masculinity. And so now we've walked to the point where we both agree that feminism and all of its associated policies have created an environment full of weak men. And now we get to the manosphere, which they're reacting to this environment of weakness by what you're calling extreme masculinity. Do you not see the symmetry?
I gave you what the documentary's perspective on, not mine's.
But do you not see the symmetry though? We've created a world of weakness. The only response to weakness is strength. And now the men are they're exuding strength. And it's like, no, not like that. Fuck you mean not like that?
Right. And I get your response to what media says, how men have been portrayed, how social groups such as Red Pill, Manosphere, and all these different other pills. I get what you're saying about that. Me per se, me being strong and masculine is not a response to how a woman, the women, the government, society, how it is that it treats me. I am the way I am because one, I was blessed with having my father in my life and him showing me exactly what it is that it means to be a man, regardless of what else. Because if the women talk shit, if other men talk shit, if government, that still does not change the fact that I'm still going to be a man. None of that's going to change because all of this shit can be gone tomorrow. You see what I'm saying?
I miss my dad every day, and I'm thankful for the experience. And I realize that far too many of us have had no fatherly experience or a shitty, low quality fatherly experience. And, for that, I am very appreciative of my father. And again, I miss him every day because what you're describing is just the reality of modern life. I mean, on the one hand, it's almost like we criticize these men for having, quote, daddy issues, but we've created a world where women can choose to raise their children without fathers and then blame the children for having daddy issues.
Can I include mommy issues in that as well?
Mommy issues are a different phenomenon, but yes, they definitely have mommy issues.
Yeah. Well, my dad just passed away this year on the 25th of January. But even still, all throughout my life, my dad left the house at 7 o'clock in the morning. He didn't come home till like 9 o'clock at night. The only really interaction I had with my dad was learning what it means, how to go to work, how to take care of bills, how to take care of home. And that's that. That was just him being a parent. Now, when it came to me being an adult or a young adult, those teenage years was different. But I get not a lot of people experience this. I don't think I appreciate you, Lawrence. I don't think that's a fault of where we say, oh, well, this is the reason why we are the way that we are today. Man, listen, whether my father was there or not, hell, my mother wasn't there either. And my mom and dad was married because they both worked. This was just a result of me evolving within the world because I needed to know what it took to be a man, regardless of this internet shit. And this is before social media was really a thing. I was born in 89. So I didn't start hearing about like these talking point shit until 2019, 2020. You see what I'm saying? So outside of everything that the men's men's rights activists and all this, that, and the other. I didn't even know what that shit was. I just knew that I needed to be a man, not to get a woman, not to have a family, not to be successful. I just need to be a man because that's what that's what it means to me. It means that
What
I'm
does
going
that
to be a
even
man.
mean in the modern world? Be a man.
What does that mean in the modern world to me?
Well, I mean, obviously to you, but like
Mhm.
it's a cliche term.
Mhm.
What does it mean to be a man? I rarely hear the phrase "be a woman" as some type of motivational charge. What do you
Mhm.
mean when you say "be a man"?
That I don't take shit. I only involve myself with what it is that I want to be involved in. And I have control of my life. When I say control of my life, there's things and there's powers that I have to answer to God. If I'm working a job, I have to answer to a boss. If I'm working for a corporation, I have to answer to that corporation. Other than that, when it comes to how I move, when I move, and all this, that, and the other, outside of just work and religion and family, that's my choice.
You sound like you're saying things, control, order,
Mhm.
respect for accomplishment, maybe. You're
Mhm.
saying things that don't put you all that far out of alignment with the men that we're criticizing in the manosphere.
Mhm.
However, these men that we're criticizing in the manosphere get charged with some type of negative extreme masculinity, like you described in the beginning.
Mhm.
But my point is that things that once upon a time would have just been considered baseline male behavior is now being charged as extreme masculinity.
I think I'm glad that you brought it up. And the only reason I even gave that perspective from what I've seen over that's been portrayed in media over these last few years, I think that's only because of social media.
Only?
Yeah, I don't think it was.
No,
I don't
no,
think they had a. I
no,
don't think they had a name for it
no,
prior to social media.
no. Why do you think T. Hassan Johnson and Professor Curry made it their mission to combat the university realm? Because before there was
Mhm.
social media, you had girls in college sitting in a circle taking notes about how evil men are and how we can take down the system. It wasn't until this stuff escaped the university that we
Mhm.
really started to confront it on a societal level. But we were incubating this stuff for years, going back
Mhm.
to even the Black Panther revolutionary movement. Them
Mhm.
niggas made radical feminist bitches too. And so you, as a
Mhm.
group, as a movement, the Black radicals sowed the seeds of their own societal dissolution because you've created warrior women. Warriors are not meant to procreate with each other. And so
Okay.
now we've created this parallel group of warriors who now want to make war with the men that they should be raising society with. And this was baked into the revolutionary cake. And so when you say
Mhm.
that it only happened in social media time, no, 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 no. We just got here. This battle has been raging way before we were born.
So even when you look at something like men's rights advocates, this is something that was happening way before America. This is happening in the UK and stuff like that. Like when I've done my research on it, and I appreciate the fact that we are just being acknowledged now in the battle because of social media. But the thing is, though, why do I need to fight against something that's not my war? Right? I don't need to be on the front line saying, "Oh well, men are toxic. Man, they're toxic because of this." Well, bitch, that ain't me. Oh, well, you call me a bitch. You okay with your other friends calling you bitch? What's the problem? Well, you're supposed to protect women. It's not my job to protect you. Well, that's what it means to be a man. You as a woman can't tell me what it means to be a man. And if another man, and if a feminist man comes up to me and try to tell me what it means to be a man, then guess what, brother? You're not me.
You're a one-man manosphere now. You see how
But
easy that is? If you start
absolutely,
to
but
multiply and populate your group with more yous, you're now a
uh-huh.
manosphere. How are you so far out of line with the actual manosphere that you just sort of started criticizing today?
Because you want to know why, and this is something that I've been hearing, and because of the people who they prop up to be, I would say, the leaders of the manosphere. I don't produce talking points nor rhetoric to hate women. I don't.
Well,
I
again,
don't. I don't
hating
sit
women
here. I don't sit
is a
here and
false
say.
charge.
I don't sit here and say that women need to be controlled. I don't sit here and say that charge women up and charge it against the game because of their body count. I don't sit here and try to
And
shame women just because of the lives that they live.
in order to have a functioning society, do you agree that men have to have some level of control imposed upon them?
And when you say imposed upon men or imposed upon women, I'm trying to understand your question.
No, I asked when it comes to having a functioning society, do you
Mhm.
think men need to have some level of order or control imposed upon them?
Encroached upon men? That's what I'm asking.
Imposed. Men need order imposed upon them, yes or no?
Yes.
So why do we exclude women from this imposition?
Because I don't
We're
care. I
trying to
don't
have a society, so we only want to control men. And you
got you,
call
but
that society.
got you. But so, and I'm glad you asked that. The reason I would answer this the way I answer is because how it is that women outside of my wife, my mother, my sister, my daughter, how it is that women move is how they move. I don't think that
What
there
does
needs to
that
be on.
mean?
However they move is how they move. I'm not in the game to try to control them. Does there
So
does there need to be, or does there need to be I wouldn't use the word boundaries, right? Does there need to be some type of societal order to say that, hey, you can't be out doing this? Then yeah, I understand that, because you're producing a better society if you have that. But I'm also not in the game to sit here and say that women should be put up under the boot of men. That's not my skilo.
Buddha is just a pejorative term. What's the
Mhm.
value of a husband who has no control over his wife?
The value of a husband who has no control over his wife. Wait, a husband needs to control his wife?
Why is that a bad thing? Why is it
Because
bad that a man
that's
has some control over the woman that's most important to him? That who can inflict the most danger and the most harm to him? Who can lead
because
him into the most precarious situations?
hold
Why
on.
should he not have some level of control?
If he has control over her, does that mean that she has influence on him?
Of course she does. She sleeps with him every night. If she has no influence over him, she's
Mhm.
mismanaging her vagina.
Okay, so vagina and sex and the ability to cook and have children is the only thing that women should be used for?
I don't know why you said that. You asked me about her having control. Don't mission creep. She has
I'm not. No,
influence over the husband.
I'm not
Yes,
mission creeping. But when I said,
she has influence.
even when I asked about influence, you said vagina, right?
Well,
So
I'm saying
go
as
ahead.
a woman, your most accessible path to managing men and their desires and their expectations is to manage their sexuality. And so as a wife, you as a wife, your part of your bonding with your husband is allowing sexual access and all that. In exchange for that, you get a
Mhm.
level of intimacy with that man that you don't expect any other woman to have. Now, while you have access to that intimacy, you have his heart and his mind.
So let me ask you this question: should men have access to women outside his wife?
Well, why? Why? What's the purpose of that? I don't think we need that necessarily. Like, what are you even raising that question for? I think that's a non
I'm
sequitur.
I'm raising that question because that has been one of the things that has been fought for within the manosphere, within some of these male social circles, right?
Who's
I
fighting
mean, listen,
for like polygamy?
you never listened to Rollo Tomasi before.
Actually, no. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna back off of that one. Maybe he is fighting for polygamy.
So
I wouldn't
so
know.
now my question is: are you talking about manosphere or are you talking about black manosphere?
I mostly deal on the black side. I don't know
There
everything
we go.
that you guys are
I think
talking
that's why
about.
I think that's why we having two different conversations, right? Because you and I appreciate you for doing it. You're coming from the black manosphere side of things, and I hate to tell you this, they don't really give a fuck about you. I'm not talking about just this documentary. I'm just talking about in media and period. When it comes down to it, even when it comes to government, black manosphere is not even seen as a problem. You do understand that, right?
Yes and no. It's all of a piece, though. I mean, look,
You
the
can't say
saying.
it's a piece if it's
Let me
different.
make my point. Let me
Go
make my
ahead.
point.
Go ahead.
White men are not 90% of the they're not a 90% voting block for Democrats. Only black men are. And so
Mhm.
the black manosphere is the number one kind of political dissolution force in terms of getting black men pulled away from that
Mhm.
Democrat voting block. So I think there's a certain value in it. It's a much smaller, much more niche value. I would totally concede that the larger white manosphere, if you want to call it that, is a bigger footprint. But
Mhm.
I don't think they're totally inseparable. And I don't think the white manosphere needs to care about the black manosphere. That's not the purpose for the split.
And that would be what? What was the split?
Well, I didn't
What was the
split it.
deciding factor?
I didn't split it, so I really think the split was counterproductive. I don't like the split as a thing, but as I
Mhm.
understand it, and if you listen to like a BGS tell it, basically the white guys were a little bit racist. They didn't want to talk about things the way that the black guys want to talk about. Because even in the black manosphere space, this is why I focus on politics, because I realize as much as you have grievances about women, you support a politics that empowers women, because most of these niggas are leftist or left leaning progressive in some way. So the black manosphere is technically a slightly left leaning space. It's more like it's more right wing than say just out and out progressives. But there are way too many leftist niggas in there, like, you know, BGS, Mr. Z, Tommy Curry. These are all left-leaning people. They're not politically right-wing at all. And so the white manosphere is a hard-line right-wing space. And so because of politics and the nature of black matriarchal social customs or whatever, black men have a hard time truly diving into the right wing.
Right. And I'm glad you took it there, because that's where I was going. When it comes down to that, that was the split. I think that's honestly where that split came about. And how that happened was, I'm echoing. Oh, hey, baby, you up here? I didn't even see you come up. What's going on, baby?
Nothing. I'm not coming to stay long. I just have to say some key points, and then I'll let y'all get back to y'all having a great conversation. Number one, we live in a patriarchal society, which is why the focus is on the men and not the women. We don't live in the matriarchy. And no matter what people want to say, their personal perspectives and their feelings, the reality of it is it's the patriarchy. The fact that the conservative just said that these are left-leaning people mean that it's not really about Republicans, more so as Democrats, and that doesn't need to necessarily exist within either black or white manosphere, right? Media also is owned majority by men and by white men. So to sit there and say that the women are controlling the media, that's not the truth. All the laws that have been written since the creation of the United States of America have been written by men. So it's other men that find the behavior of a certain subset or group of men to be problematic. Maybe you don't have to blame women, and maybe take into account that it's other men that are judging the behaviors of men and finding men to be an issue. It's other men that put the manosphere on a terrorist list, terrorist watch group list, not women. Women didn't do that. So when we start looking at what's really happening here, then we can really put things into perspective. But as far as that documentary was really good, and it allowed me to see that a lot of people are simply delusional. The man didn't actually come with any agenda in mind as to what the documentary was going to show or explore, but we did see everybody like, oh no, this is a hit piece and he's out to get me. If you're firm in your conviction, then you should be able to be firm in your conviction. Anyway, great bill, guys. Take care.
Appreciate it, baby. Cool. So yeah, that's pretty much what I got from this documentary as I was watching it. And from what and how I've been seeing that within black manosphere, there's a fight amongst the men in the black. It's like everybody want to be seen as a I don't want to use the word pariah, but seen as like the big dog. You see what I'm saying? Within the white manosphere, I'm not saying that they don't have these problems. They got their own problems too, but they fight in a different type of way. But again, and this is something that I even got into it with a few people within them. I'm not gonna say no names. I even had some challenging conversations with them because my thing is like, why do y'all keep bringing up the women? This has nothing to do with the women. Well, it's because of matriarchy and society and government. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I don't care. And the reason I don't care is because none of that shit affected me. Not in life. None of that shit affected my money. That shit's not affecting my marriage. Where is these
problem?
Huh?
It's a you problem.
Yeah, it is a me problem. But this is my thing though. When it comes to men, it's always
they have their problems. You have yours.
Got you. But what is these problems? And this is what I meant by that box in the box comment, right? You're making up these boxes to do what?
When you say boxes, what are you referring to? Because I don't know how to respond to that.
Okay, I'll give you one of the boxes, then I'll ask you a question. One of the boxes is that men can't have the freedom to do what they want when it comes to being masculine because they're being controlled by women, right? That's one of the boxes that I hear a lot, is that women are trying to remove what it means to be masculine, right? So now my question is this: who told you that you couldn't be masculine? Who made it to where you couldn't be masculine?
You just started this entire show by calling their masculinity extreme. I could
I
argue with
didn't.
you.
Again, I
I
didn't
asked you
call
what
them.
you mean by extreme masculinity. Well,
Yeah,
you highlighted
I
something that
gave
was
you
said.
something
So
that was something in the documentary, right?
fair enough. Let me try to quote you accurately. That's what they're saying. So you know who's saying it. You know where it's coming from. Even if it's not coming from you directly, you know it's coming from somewhere. It's not these men.
Got you. So who gives a damn what they call us?
Oh,
If
now
they
it's who
call us,
gives a damn. When the levers of government are held by people who believe your masculinity is toxic and extreme, then yeah, who gives a damn?
Right. But here's the thing, though. What just happened in the last presidential election, right? And our last president was extremely feminist. We seen how this country was run. We seen how this world moved.
Trump is a fucking feminist, bro. Let's not.
Trump is a feminist?
Trump loves to hire chicks.
Wait, hold on. Trump is
Trump
a
loves
feminist?
hiring women. Yes, Trump loves hiring women.
So wait, you would rather he hire more men than women?
I didn't say that. I said he's a feminist and he loves hiring women. I don't know where the scale thing came in. I just said Trump loves women.
So I'm gonna ask you the question. Would your scale change if he hired more men?
Would I see him as less of a feminist if he hired more men? Perhaps, yes.
I didn't know that hiring women was a feminist thing. What do you mean by that? This is where I get confused. And this, like,
why is the press secretary always a chick?
Because it's always been a chick. When was it a dude?
Okay, so men can't talk to the microphone. Men can't talk to the press. It's a woman's job. And so we carved out a role just for women to give it to women, and that's not feminism.
What? I don't look at a press secretary having being a gender-based job. You're either hired to speak to the people or you're not hired to speak to the people. Why does it matter? Why does it matter what gender is up there speaking to the people?
But if you prefer having women do it, then how am I wrong for saying you're probably a little bit feminist? And I'm not even saying that's a hostile negative charge, but like at that level, that's maybe benign feminism, right? But still, like to say that Trump is not a feminist, no, Trump likes women. Trump likes to promote women.
I'm gonna say something dangerous here, and if we argue, we argue. Why is it this position that there needs to be less women working?
Less women working will mean more men make higher incomes, and more men having higher incomes make the men more viable to the women as a romantic thing. The birth rates will increase rather. And then female happiness, all the metrics of female happiness have basically plummeted. And so we would actually increase female happiness if they stayed home with the kids and let the men make more of the money.
But a lot of these niggas ain't shit.
And they don't have jobs and the money. Give them, direct more of the resources to the men and the boys so they'll be more than ain't shit, and the women can be more satisfied with the outcome. See, but as long as we're promoting women to make a man's income so that she can live apart from a man, of course there are going to be armies of men who ain't shit.
All right, cool. So you have a lot of these young dudes right now who's of this belief that just because they make a certain dollar amount because of what's in the Bible, they should be able to have access to outside sex, right?
I don't know if you're conflating things like the dollar amount of the Bible thing. Like it's like you're mashing the drug dealer and the biblical nigga together now.
Absolutely, because some of these niggas believe
the Jesus fearing crack dealer. Oh man,
well, hold on. Listen, some of these niggas believe that because certain religious figures in the Bible have multiple wives, and because they had a certain dollar amount, then they should be able to move different, right?
I think that's a woman thing, honestly. I think women decide which man deserves multiple women.
So you're gonna have to go talk to a lot of these brothers that I be seeing up on these panels and up on these shows, saying that yes, men should have access to outside sex based on his ability to be able to provide. If I could provide for one woman, if I could provide for four, I should be able to have the other three instead of having the one, right?
You can say what you should and shouldn't have, but ultimately women decide which man deserves multiple women.
Yeah, because women control access to sex. I know, and men control
women decide who gets to be a player.
Got you. So, but now I get back. This is where I always come in. Whatever, KJ. This is where everybody that's coming in on Servatives Chat. Appreciate you for being here. Make sure y'all drop a like and share. Also, thank you, baby, for the super chat. She says toxic masculinity was coined in the 1980s by Shepard Bliss to distinguish unwealthy, authoritarian, and violent behaviors from what they termed as deep masculinity. Appreciate you for the super chat. So
So we're operating on terms that people just pulled out of thin air, effectively. This is how the university system works, by the way. They come up with a term, they totally double down on it by creating literature and studies to reinforce the term, and then they go forward as if that term is the truth.
So that's not a term that's made up. That's a term that's actually Googleable. You can look that up. But here's the thing, though. Why is it a bad thing? What's so wrong with deep masculinity? What's wrong with toxic masculinity?
I don't know what these words mean until the person who coined the term gives it meaning. So it's your definition, it's your universe. We're living in your head by saying toxic masculinity. What makes masculinity toxic? Because women cry.
So what if they cry?
So what makes the toxic? That's my point.
But that's my thing.
If they cry, so if your position is what if they cry, then there's no definition of toxic masculinity.
Why need to defend to something that's not against you? That has nothing to do with you. If someone calls you toxic, so what?
My point being is that we started using terminology from some guy as if he just knows.
Yeah, but if that terminology does not, this is the way I live my life. If that shit don't apply to me, I don't give a damn.
But if someone government operates as if you are a toxic man. So again, you saying I don't care is a cop-out.
Yeah, because no, it's not a cop-out, it's just the truth. I don't give a fuck about government because I don't like government.
You cannot like government and still be in jail. That's a cop-out.
Yeah, good thing is I've never been to jail.
Again, cop-out.
It's not a cop-out. That's not ignoring reality. If I don't move the way, if I don't do the things that move in a way that can possibly put me in jail, why would I be worried about jail?
Brian Banks.
Great. Brian Banks was a man who was lied upon by a woman who lied that he assaulted her.
He doesn't care that women can lie, but her lie got him in jail. You saying I don't care is a cop-out toward reality.
No, it's not a cop-out towards reality. You deal with it as it comes. Why do you need to defend to something? Why do you need to defend against something that's not there?
Well, it's clearly there.
Clearly they're not in my world. Because
are you in a bubble, or are you just such a him that it doesn't matter to you?
No, I'm not in a bubble. I don't.
So you're just a him. You're just like I just don't allow the problems of mere mortals don't affect you. So be it. End of conversation.
Yeah, but I wouldn't label myself as an alpha.
I mean, these are very much alpha talking points. Like, it just don't matter to me. You know, I never had these problems. You know, my dick has never been this little.
That's
like, not fucking what. This is what men go through, bro.
That's not alpha talking points. Alpha talking points are typically aimed at sigmas because they want to be sigmas.
Saying that these problems don't exist to me, therefore it's not real, is alpha myopic bullshit.
No, I acknowledge and I recognize the world. Excuse me. I acknowledge and I recognize the world. I just don't move in a way to where now I have to be attributed to the consequences that can happen in the world. If I know that dealing drugs can land me in jail, why would I go deal drugs? If I know that cheating on my wife could cause me a problem, why would I go cheat on my wife? If I know that targeting people to be physically assaultive to them can get me in trouble, why would I go be physically assaultive to them? If I know that I need to go do a thing to make some money, then I'm gonna go do the thing to make some money, as long as it's not encroaching upon the well-being of others. That has nothing to do with what it is that they say in social media or in government.
We started this whole conversation about, you know, the manosphere, and I would remind you that this space wasn't born because a bunch of dudes just kept doing the wrong things and then getting the deserved outcome. You had dudes coming together saying, I thought I was doing all these things right, and getting the wrong outcomes. And what you're finding out is, because the rules have slowly changed in the modern world, men doing the quote right thing is walking men down a blind alley, effectively. So you start to have these conversations among men who are trading notes and comparing outcomes versus intent, and realizing that your good intention is no longer enough as a man.
Got you. So
the idea, hold on, let me wrap it up here. The idea that you, like you said, Sel, I don't do these bad things, so I can never expect to be in a bad position, is just false. And that's not how men have been seeing the world.
Got you. I have no. Let me say this. I see a lot of people in your chat calling me a cuck and a feminist. They would be well deserved to know that I'm nowhere near the two. I actually hate cucks and I hate feminists.
My chat's mean. Don't get offended.
I ain't worried about
We're
it.
a mean bunch of savages.
I'm
Hoodlums.
not, but that's the thing. It's fine, right? But the thing is this though, right? And I see this is the reason why I'm addressing it. I see a lot of that rhetoric because of men who say, "Man, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit y'all talking about. I don't. None of that shit. None of that shit affects me."
When you have a group of men saying, "I don't care about your problems, therefore I really don't give a shit about you," what is the response you expect now?
Well, here's the thing: the
brotherly love and hugging it out together. You don't give a shit about these niggas and their problems. You don't believe these problems are even real.
Problems?
So you should not expect any like affable camaraderie coming.
Absolutely, but what problems is these niggas dealing with? Relationships?
Well, I would argue it's a little bit more complex than relationships.
Okay,
if it was
please
just
walk me down.
Men can probably deal with it, but it's more about government and societal expectation. Like, for example, you see this kind of
government. Wait, why does someone?
I don't like when black people say F government, like government hasn't been your number one enemy since the 60s.
That's not my point of saying fuck government. My point is this: what do you say? Societal expectations. Who said that you had to fucking reach those? Society.
The women that you're after.
What women am I after?
The women that you're after. As men, we try to acquire women in one way or another, and the women have their own minds as well, do they not?
No, I just think that dudes hold on, wait. I think that dudes is chasing a specific type of woman, but they're out here and they're participating with women that they don't want to be with.
So let's put it this way, right? So for the last, let's say 2 or 3-ish generations, after single motherhood rate has been rising, all these men they've just been pursuing the wrong women. So where are the right women? So all these men, by your estimation, have been pursuing the wrong women. Where are the right women, and what are these right women saying?
For them, I don't know. I found mine.
Okay, so you finding your good woman seems to be the minority stance at this point.
No, I wouldn't say it's the minority stance. I would say that I've participated in a multitude of relationships, and then once I came to the conclusion that these is not the type of the women that I want to deal with, I cut all of those women off.
Okay.
So this is where I get confused, right? So I've been down that road of being cheated on. I've been down that road of being a cheater. I've been down that road of being a liar. I've been down the road of being lied on. But when it comes down to it, if I run into, let's say I'm not married anymore. If I run into a female of today in modern society, I'm not going to have the conclusion of you already an ain't shit woman. Your body count probably high. You probably got kids. I don't care about none of that because her past is her past. Now, if I choose to involve myself with her, then I'm setting myself up for not getting the full ground research on her. But at the same time, if let's say I do involve myself with her and she turns out to be a bad choice, is that her fault or is that my fault?
That's both parties, I would argue. And the point I would like to counter with that, though, is it's a little bit it's a little bit more basic, right? You know how earlier you were saying, I don't care about this, I don't care about that. I tend to hold a similar position in the sense of, I don't think it's about somebody cheated on somebody lied, somebody broke somebody's heart. These are things that happen in the ups and downs of just romantic affairs, cheatings and entanglements and disappointments. These things happen. Really, I think it comes down to ownership of the children and the family interest. Women have been given a huge hand in owning the children, which actually just disrupts the concept of family interest, because now the women are automatically separate from the men, whereas the fact of having children together should bind the two together. But because women get such a like I said, an overcharged hand in these arenas, it naturally dissolves family formation. And so I don't think it's really about who cheated on who. I think it's ultimately about who owns the children.
Cool. So why are we out here practicing having babies if we're not married?
Well, skill issue on a woman's part.
It's not a skill issue on a woman's part. If you're not married to this bitch, why are you sleeping with her?
Skill issue on a woman's part. She She gets all the benefit out of that interaction.
Absolve man of responsibility for having sex with a woman that's not his wife.
He already gets responsibility. I don't know. It sounds like you want a moral punishment. Like
I don't want a moral punishment. My thing is for you to involve yourself with a woman who you're not trying to be with long term or for the rest of your life, and you're having unprotected sex with her. It sounds like you already signing yourself into a bad deal and complaining about the consequences.
A skills issue on the woman's part. Let me point out why I keep saying that.
Go ahead.
Because for all of human history, women had to be the effective gatekeeper for their own sexuality, right? And meaning either you give it to him or he takes it. And in this modern world, men aren't really taking it that way. Women are giving it up. And so as a woman, you are giving it away to men because you either are protected from consequence or you are going to benefit from the outcome. Yeah, men don't get the benefit. Men only get the responsibility.
But yeah, just like we discovered earlier, when it comes down to it, that if this is a skill issue, men don't have to accept what they offer, right?
If it's a skill issue, the skill is on the hat. The skill is to be held by the woman. The skill being with your sexuality that draws men in, acquire a man of more substance. If the woman cannot acquire a man of more substance, that is a skill issue. That's a hill I will die on.
Okay, so the men of less substance, right? Let's talk about the men of less substance. They don't have to
sleep with those men.
Exactly, but why are those men?
Because they are men, and that is their biological disposition.
See, this is where I'm glad that I got here. This is where I always come to a disagreement with anybody that comes from like the male spaces. I'll just say that.
Okay.
That's not just because you offer pussy don't mean you got to take it.
What is the woman's
wait, hold on.
We both like sex.
Wait, hold on. Just because we both like sex does not mean I have to participate in it with the possibility of having a child. Why are you not using a condom or just abstaining from sex until you know that this is a woman that you want to be with?
Why do we only weight one side of the gender, though? I can accept that. I can accept that coming from you if you weighted both sides equally, but you only give responsibility to one side.
You know why? Nah, thank you for getting here.
Justify your hypocrisy now.
No, it's not a hypocrisy. It's a simple thing of I don't care if the woman's pussy is wet. And
another cop out, bro.
Hold on. That's not a wait. Hold on. Listen. Listen. That's not a cop out. That's not a cop out. My thing is when it comes down to the men, why are you looking to charge the woman with offering you the pussy instead of you not charging yourself and saying I don't have to accept it?
Because they don't care how you feel. How about that?
So what? It's about
we can just I don't care indefinitely.
No, it's not a I don't care indefinitely. It's the simple thing is as a man, stop taking pussy that you don't want to be with.
As a man, the pussy belonged to me because it was given to me.
But it's not your pussy though, because that's not your woman. That's just that don't matter. That don't matter. That don't matter.
Why does it not matter? You see what I mean?
That's not your wife. Because that's not your wife.
You know what I realized about these problems, and this is not even a black white thing, this is a modern man thing, and I've been trying to understand more the idea of female sexuality. Sexuality makes everybody uncomfortable because the ultimate solution to female sexuality is to basically oppress women, because women like to have sex and they like to have sex with who they want to have sex with, and if she wants to have sex with him, your only solution is to make him the bad guy.
No, I would disagree with that. My thing is like this is why I disagree with it. I can't be the bad guy if I don't take the sex. So if a woman that is undesirable to you, if you don't want to have sex with her but she offers sex to you, you take it?
I probably wouldn't. You gotta get me drunk or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So now I'm not. This is why I'm glad we have this conversation. This is why the manosphere, a lot of these manosphere spaces, and a lot of these red pill spaces don't like a nigga like me, because I'm putting the responsibility back on you as a man, regardless of what the fuck the woman does. It's back on you as a man. Just because the pussy get offered to you, don't mean you got to take it.
So hold on now. Since you're putting all the responsibility on me as a man, give me all the fucking authority too.
Sure, you get the authority if you're willing to take the responsibility.
But that's not where we are. So you can't judge these men for taking sex without any attachment, because you would never give them authority anyway. And so you're arguing that these men are somehow wrong for taking what's given to them, yet you're not giving them anything. You don't have an offer but shame and guilt.
Thanks for falling into my trap card. It's not about you getting offered something and taking it. It's about you refusing it.
I don't have to do the same thing because you say so, though.
There you go. So then why then okay, so now I get to the manosphere part. Then why the hell are you defending against something that that's not affected by you, right?
What do you mean affected by me? What do you
easy? What did you just say? What did you just say?
Remind me what I just said, because
we were talking about authority and responsibility, right? If a woman offers you pussy, you don't have to take it. You said, then fine. If that's the case, give me all of the authority. Fine.
Right. Because you want me to have all the responsibility.
You have full and complete authority on what it is that you do with your body, and you do with your money, and you do with your life, regardless of what the woman. This is why I always say, stop talking about the damn women. Then why?
Because you want to absolve the women endlessly, though.
I'm not absolving the women.
What did you just say, though?
I'm not absolving
fully on men, though.
I'm not absolving
any responsibility in this.
I'm not absolving the women. My thing is, why do the women matter if we're talking about bettering men?
Because you want to absolve them. That's why they matter.
Absolve them of what? What is their absolve
of? And their choices and their desires.
This is where y'all are. Now, this is in my book. This is my personal feeling. This is where y'all always fall short. Regardless of what they do, it's about what you do.
It's about what I do. So if she wants to sleep with me and I sleep with her.
No, you don't sleep with her if you don't want to be with her.
Oh, but she's absolved. You see,
it's not. No, she's not. No, but see, you're bringing the focus back on her. So what if she wants to fuck you? You don't have to fuck her.
Ever held responsible for a two-party entanglement?
That's not true. What are you talking about?
That's exactly your position.
No, it's not. No,
my position. Asking over and over, what is her responsibility? And you're like, stop talking about women.
Because it's not about the women. This is about you as a man.
Responsibility.
According to y'all, men don't have responsibility. I'm giving you the gateway to have that responsibility.
No, we don't have responsibility because women are free. No woman is owned by her father or her brother. So because women are free, they are free to suffer. That's what freedom means. Freedom is also free to suffer. And this is what
give them more suffrage.
Wrong. You want no suffer, not suffrage. You want freedom without suffering. Life is suffering. If you fuck up, you suffer. You make bad decisions, you suffer. If you can't get people to treat you, if you can't encourage people to give you a fair deal, you suffer. So as a woman, if your behavior causes suffering, it is not the role of some man, cellulite, to now mitigate her suffering, which is what you're attempting to do.
No, I'm not. No.
And absolving women of every behavioral decision.
Don't
have to suffer, right?
Don't partner me up with that. Men wouldn't have to suffer if they wasn't making the decisions that they make. Such as if men wasn't out here, talking about the 50s for a second, if men wasn't out here leaving their families to go chase the hoe down the street, and they're leaving behind their children, they're leaving behind their wife, we wouldn't even probably be in this conversation. Let's just be honest.
I would argue that myth is way more overblown. It's one of those things that we believe all women when they say this shit.
No. I don't listen to the women. I listen to the men who actually.
How many men can actually manage to have two? Like men barely can get one woman nowadays. You really think the average man was holding down multiple families?
I'm sorry. How many niggas cheat on their wives these days in 2026?
I don't know, but most.
Okay.
Listen, the men who can do, but most can't. That's the general rule. That's the Pareto, the distribution. That's just the 80-20 rule. Most can't. And so you're now trying to charge the average men with player outcomes. The average man is not getting that many women, bro. Even in the 40s and 50s, when people were a little bit more sexually reserved, the average man did not have a woman across town.
Got you. So are you talking about the 60-40 conversation now?
80-20.
Well, I always say 60-40. 80-20 is too high.
80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule is born out from like dating app statistics and surveys, like who swipes whom.
Why does that shit even matter? Like this
Again,
is
cop
wait,
out.
wait, this
Cop
no,
outs.
no, no, wait,
Copping
wait.
out
That's
to
not that's
realities
not
and
that's not a cop out. That's one of those boxes that I'm talking about. The boxes that some men have created amongst themselves. And I'm not saying
observable data.
hold on, I'm not saying that it's not true. I'm just saying that why this is why you say it's a cop out. Why does it matter? Do you know I never gave a fuck about the 80-20 rule? Do you know that ever since the day I start fucking, none of that shit mattered to me. None of these relationship conversations, none of that shit mattered. All that happened to me was I matured, and eventually I came upon the fact that a lot of the shit, a lot of dudes don't like to hear this when I say this. 100% of the shit that you went through, no, I'm sorry, 99% of the shit that you went through in your life is 100% your fault. And that's just the honest to God.
Say that about women and we can end this conversation.
Why do I need to say that about women?
Because you refuse to.
No, it's not that I refuse to. It's just that they're not my concern. My concern is the evolution and the betterment of men, not the subjugation of women. And this is why. Wait. This is. Let me finish. I'm gonna land this, and you got it. This is why I say y'all message of controlling and dominating women is a message. It can come off as a message of hate because you want me to say something about a woman when I don't have to say shit about women. Let these women deal with the women. Let the men deal with the man. You got it.
Men deal with everything because we're men. Everything is under our purview.
Continue, because you're not answering.
Everything is under our control. If we don't control it, who does?
If y'all don't control it, then why the hell are y'all fighting against it? Apparently, y'all don't have control.
No, men don't have control. Men are. You just said these men want to oppress and subjugate women. That stems from men not having control. So the argument is, how do you build things of value if men have no control?
Because
somebody has to control things.
You're fighting for control for something that's not yours.
Your woman is yours.
Absolutely, my woman is mine. Hence why
I have control.
Hence why it is that I have control of my woman, but she has control of me. But also, this is where it comes down.
It's okay when you do it because you're a fucking him.
Absolutely, you goddamn right. Because I'm in my marriage.
Other niggas don't deserve it with their woman, but you get it with your woman.
Hold up, wait, time out.
Bro.
No, that's not hypocrisy. Because because I'm not chasing what these niggas want. I'm not talking about men. I'm talking about niggas.
Niggas, you're just accusing them.
I'm sorry. So what's the difference between the man and the nigga?
No, I'm just saying you're just accusing them of not being whatever it is you think you are, but you can't say that for a fact.
I'm not.
You're the only man that deserves a woman who listens to him. What the hell is that?
I'm sorry. Ain't that what y'all fighting for? Are y'all fighting for women who listen to y'all?
But you're saying they're wrong, though. But you got one at home.
No, I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm saying they're listening to the wrong women, and then they blame the women for listening to the women.
You ran through how many women till you found the right one? Most of them are the wrong women. Most of them are the wrong women. So that's a numerical problem.
Got you. So, but when it comes down to it, I'm not out here fighting the same fight for the women that I don't want under my banner.
Again, that's not the problem, though. You found the one, so you had to fight through God knows how many to find the one. Does that somehow discount the existence of all these women who are not the one? So if you got so many women who are just not measuring up, and you got so many men complaining that, even if you wanted to find a wife, the fucking Kevin Samuels problem, he gets all these high-powered black men together, and you know what? I can't find matches for them. Now I have to meticulously put people together like I'm doing microscopic surgery or something like that. Like I gotta weave these disparate things together when it shouldn't be that difficult.
You want to be honest? And I've never said this publicly, but I don't mind saying this today. You know, one thing that Kevin Samuels had wrong,
which is
everything.
Oh damn! Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. I'll tell you why. Because
women are never
Kevin.
Wrong.
No, it's not because women are never wrong. I'm gonna read the super chats in a minute. I see y'all sitting super chats, but I'll tell you what Kevin Samuels was wrong at. When Kevin Samuels did it, when he did it for the money instead of doing it for the mission, that's when it became a problem. Because of Kevin Samuels was actually about bettering relationships, bettering men, showing women the path they could be on instead of always putting a premium on his presence and putting a practice on his words. We wouldn't have this problem. But it is what it is. Let me read the super chats right quick, and then I'm gonna bring in Seth. I read this one already. My Cast Bruce says with $10, Negroes in this man's chat are literally not saying they don't care about the perspective of anyone. These dudes are weird as fuck. They blame women for what men have done to control them. Fact. Bad Duck with $5 says it's not rocket science. Take responsibility for your own actions. Simple. It's just that simple. My Cast Bruce with $10 says these type of men sleep with anything and then wonder why their lives are toxic. Just say no to the box and you'll be okay. Facts. C Cantrell with $2. Appreciate you for the super chat. My Cast Brew $10 says he's in control of his family and I listen to him. I submit to him because he's the leader. He has never needed to shift to me for perspective. I follow his lead and get you a wife. I'm just saying. It's just that simple. Set, what's going on, my G?
Man, it's all good, bro. I was just chilling in the back. Well, I was just listening to y'all conversation for the past like 20 minutes, man. I decided to hop in on it.
What you got? Say your piece.
Man, to be honest with you, honestly, I think Kevin Samuel honestly opened the door for a lot of people, and he touched on a lot of relevant things. Now, was he a bit money grubbing with the whole, oh yeah, stop the show until you get my support up and all this crazy stuff? I'll be real, that was a bit like distasteful. But let's be real, he opened the door for the conversation to be had. Because let's be real, if you had that conversation like before Kevin Samuels, bro, you was getting straight shamed by the women because the women definitely did control black media. Kevin Samuels kicked open the door of black media, allowing this conversation to happen, even though he made some mistakes. But kicking the door down.
So this is why I say Kevin got it wrong at. The reason is because Kevin had a few good insights, but you know where Kevin went wrong at? Kevin went wrong where he wanted to where he promoted everything to go pejoratively towards women, to go against women. Now that's not Kevin's fault because mainly it was women that was coming up to him to asking him questions. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, but there was dudes against women. I'm sorry, say it again.
You said he's against women. Explain
no,
how he's against women.
I didn't say he's against women. What I'm saying, and I probably misspoke when I said that. It was majority women that called into his show. That's what I meant to say. That's where I was wrong with that. But my thing is this: Kevin had the right message. It's just the packaging was wrong. Kevin had the packaging for high value. Kevin packaged his talking points and his show that moved in a way that was great for high value man, but you cannot sell that to the average man. The average man cannot move like a high value man. You see what I'm saying?
That was my only criticism of him. But other than that, I think it's solid. But, the arguments that your mechanic makes ain't going to be the argument that a CEO corporate office type of dude makes. So I accept that.
Now, Hood had a really good argument with the 80-20. I think you kind of like overlooked that a bit because, I don't know, maybe because we're a bit outside of it. I know, bro, you're a bit older than me and you married and all that. So you're kind of outside of this, but the dating apps and all this crazy stuff.
I've been down those roads.
Huh?
I've been down those roads.
Okay, good. So you kind of know that, well, women are picky. And dude, yeah, the studies are real that I'm gonna be real with you. Only 20% of guys actually get attention from women.
Yeah,
so
I wrote
80% of guys do feel disenfranchised and they do kind of feel away when we just hit them with the, well, I mean, bro, if you ain't 6 feet or you ain't got them 6 figures, I don't know what to tell you, cuz.
I would have to argue that. You know why? It's because I see a lot of broke niggas getting a whole bunch of pussy. How do these broke niggas keep having babies?
What physical attributes do they have, though? Because
they're almost never fugly broke niggas. I promise you, they're not fugly and broke.
But here's my thing, though. At least they got something going for them, even if it's just dick. Even if it's just dick. If all you got is dick and it's working for you, congratulations. But here's the problem, though. These high value rhetoric, this high value rhetoric, this high value talking points, these standards that a lot of people believe that exist for the average man is actually not there. That's been proven that's been proven in more ways than one since the beginning of fucking Sunday.
So why are so many women reporting either they're just directly single or they have a lack of desire to be married at all? Like that's not even on the man's side. Women are reporting these things.
Women that's like that, prior to me being married, women that's like that was not on my level. It was not on my purview. They wasn't on my radar.
You don't see it. It's not real. You see what I mean? This is what's so
frustrating about the hen part of the conversation. Though. The manosphere made dudes feel hopeless.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you, Seth. Say it again, Seth.
Like, to be real with you, the manosphere made dudes feel hopeless. Remember how black pill dudes got, like, if I ain't 6 feet, it ain't even worth it. What was it? It was the 6 feet, 6 inches. Like, there was probably, like, 6 feet, 6 inches, 6 figures. Bro, there's only like 2 of those you can honestly control.
Okay, so we're back to the other argument of most men don't have access to most women. So women complaining about men is overwhelmingly a skill issue because you're choosing to get with the men that you want to get with. And now you got people on the other side saying, well, these women are unhappy. It must be the men's fault. No, it's the women doing exactly what they want to do, have been for a long time, and now they're unhappy.
Yeah, women got more options than we do.
So women have more options than men do, but what do men focus on?
They should focus on themselves. They do focus on women.
Thank you. But conservative, your answer?
You ask what should men focus on, or
what should men
focus on themselves, or for the most part, men, they go to work and go home. Most guys just go to work and go home.
Got you. And whether they have access to these women or not, and I'm not talking about the streetwalkers. I'm not talking about the OnlyFans. I ain't talking about the legit toots. What I'm saying is that these access to women, these women that they so-called want, they're putting a what's the word I want to use? Fuck it, I just use standard. They're putting a standard on them that unless she's this type of woman, then I don't want to have access to her. How can you complain that you don't have access to women when you putting an unreasonable standard on women?
Oh, so he afford, but he wanted sixes. He's like, I'm like, nah, bro, you for average girls only.
You see what I'm saying though? It's like you're telling me I'm making niggas hopeless, but you niggas only deserve ugly bitches who are barely streetwalkers. All the women that are barely above streetwalkers. That's what Sal says.
What's wrong?
Somehow I'm taking the hope away from niggas.
So my thing is this though: what's the majority of women? Would you say the majority? Now we're gonna go by the numbers. Is the majority of women a 10?
The average is the average, which is 5 and 6, bro.
Okay,
4,
cool.
5 and 6 is the average.
So should men settle for 5 and 6?
Most people should settle. Most people do settle. The problem is most people, women especially, think they're too good to settle. Every man, just about every man, is willing to make a deal with a woman. Most women don't want to make the deal unless you're that guy.
Well, hold on. I kind of get where he's going from because, like, he remember the whole term, like, wholeflation is real. It's real. Right. So that means fours do be wanting guys who are like 7 and 8, but they don't want to hang around with the guys who are like maybe just a 5 or a 6. They actually want to go 3-4 points above what they are.
Everybody settles ultimately, bro. Everybody settles ultimately.
If dudes are selling for 5s and 6s, then how come they not marrying them?
No, dudes are settle, women don't.
Okay, so the idea that women don't settle, why are we chasing women who don't want to settle?
It's not even
because they're going for the best option. If you're their best option, that's what they're gonna settle with.
We've created environment. Hold on, we've created an environment where it's economically and socially feasible for women to not settle.
Okay, so if these women are, and I hate to say this, if these women are outside of your league, why does that matter?
Well, because we're talking about women as a class, not just the bad bitch in my class. So we're talking about women as a whole. We've created an environment, again, socially and economically. We've created all these avenues for women to not have to settle.
Got you. So when you are surrounded by these women who don't have to settle,
you mean in America?
That time you should be focusing on yourself and growing yourself, and then maybe you will become something either that they want to settle with, or you can find better.
Okay, fine. But now what you're doing is saying every man must strive to be him, and that's just not how people operate.
Okay, so in that motion, let me just be honest, right? Because this is what I sound like. This is what I sound like it's trying to get away from. It sounds like this conversation trying to get away from it. When it comes down to it, a lot of dudes not gonna get no pussy, not gonna get no woman.
But that's
throughout history, that's been true. Like, no, think about throughout history, most men did not procreate. So
that's normal. Yeah, and you're acting as if I'm having like an exuberant amount of sympathy for people who would naturally lose the mating game anyway. The mating game is winner take all for guys, generally speaking. Women tend to reproduce easily. Men, it's a lot harder. I accept the fact that most men will lose. What I'm pointing out is we've created an environment that has so tilted the scales that most men have to lose.
I say that some niggas deserve to lose, but that's just
everybody. Yeah, but any scenario will create losers who deserve to lose. We've gone well beyond that. So now every man is a loser by birth.
I don't think that's true, and I'll tell you why. Well, yeah, I don't think that's true. I'll tell you why. Because just because a woman get dick from man does not mean that she'll get a child or become a wife.
No, but she can still have her needs provided for without having that man be attached to her, which is the fundamental reality. This is why I said it's actually ownership of the children and support of women. Because
Then stop giving them babies.
Throughout history, women have been supported by the men around them. Now we've created an environment where women are supported by themselves and by the government. So it's like we've totally excised men from the ecosystem of women, and now we're wondering why men are having a hard time finding a place to land.
Yeah, but you make it sound like men are a victim in this.
What's wrong with describing it that way? Have we not taken someone to give to the other?
There's no aspect of masculinity that concludes me as a man as a victim.
That's your ego talking.
That's not ego. Since when is wait. Let me make sure
never be victimized by anything.
Wait. Let me make sure I get this right. So is being a victim a part of masculinity?
Men can be a victim at times. Yes.
That's the craziest shit I ever heard.
Yeah, yes. Big ass niggas get shot the fuck up all the time, bro.
I don't know. Victim, maybe it hinders like your chances.
But you're not a victim.
I mean, we're not talking about just in relationships. We're talking about man's relation to his government.
Again,
when your government charges you as the abuser, when your government says you're automatically abuser when a woman calls the police, you're being victimized by your state.
If you wasn't messing with the bitch who could potentially call the police on you.
How do you know the difference until it happens?
Easy, because you gauge the bitch that you with. Simple.
Yeah,
so if you would a hood booger ass chick, right? If you would a downtrodden bitch, ghetto ass bitch, right?
Because only the ghetto downtrodden women do evil, right?
Oh no! I'm just using that as an example.
There's no solid example. That's my point. Women are women, bro.
Okay, but here's the thing, though. Not every woman is the same.
But women are women.
Yeah. Okay. If women are women, then men are men, right?
And so this is a part of the behavior set of women is to use manipulative.
That's not manipulative.
Attacks.
Telling you to choose better. That's not manipulative.
No. When we talk about the woman who will call the police and get you jammed up, right? All women are capable of such things because it is the nature of women to use asymmetric warfare against men. If they were as big as us, they would punch us in the mouth, but they can't.
Got you. But here's the problem, right? Men are supposed to be better strategists than women, right?
Supposed to be. Doesn't always work out.
So if these men became better strategists, they would learn how to discern between what's a good woman, what is a bad woman, right? So
your ultimate solution is men are bad and they need to be better, which is my original point. Is you only have one side. You can only factor one side of this equation.
No,
this whole conversation, you've been operating on one side of the equation intentionally.
Yeah, you know why? I can tell you why. Because
it doesn't matter why. I don't care why. Remember?
Well, you don't have to care. But my thing is this: when it comes down to it, stop looking at the woman to validate your masculinity just because she should be subjective to your control.
My contention is, if you're a woman who is under no man's control, you're free to suffer. Deal.
Wow. Go ahead.
What's wrong with that? Tell me what's wrong with that first. You're telling me I'm wrong for wanting to control a woman, and I say fine, no control, let her suffer, and you're like, oh my God, he's horrible. Why?
I didn't say you was horrible. I just said wow.
That was your reaction. Explain.
No, I didn't. No. You're trying to implicate.
Explain your reaction.
You're trying to implicate. No, you're trying to implicate.
Reaction, please.
No, you're trying to implicate because I said wow. Just because that's actually
explain
a feminist
your
thing.
Reaction.
No. That's a feminist thing to try to gauge my reaction.
Please.
Just because I said wow don't mean anything.
I'm asking you to explain here. I'm giving you ample opportunity to explain your reaction.
And what do you want me to explain? My reaction to what?
When I say let her suffer, and you say wow.
Yes.
Explain your reaction.
Because I don't see a woman being by herself as a form of suffering.
Her being alone isn't the suffering, but if she's making bad decisions, suffering is the outcome of bad decisions, right?
No, I don't. Well, I'm sorry. Say it again.
Suffering is the outcome of bad decision making. Yes.
If you don't make no decision, are you suffering?
Yes. Not making a decision is a pretty big decision.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta go somewhere.
My motherfucking mind with that one. Seth, you got something before I read the super chats? By the way, y'all, if y'all want to come up the link
right now, man.
Nah, you got it, brother.
Now read the super chat, go ahead, bro.
All right. Where did I leave off at? Right here. My Casby tonight said, I never said I was anti anything, but I don't argue with ninjas that do not listen or read and just regurgitate talking points. Support your content creator and hit a super chat. They are just mad, they are broke. Absolutely. Coon of Coon says, without I was using personal experience to explain complex system is like trying to chart the ocean from a puddle. Yeah, here's the problem with that. Niggas like to make shit harder than what it actually is. Bad Duck with $5 says 80-20 exists because guys have unrealistic expectations from watching too much corn. Every guy has opportunities, they just don't meet their expectations.
That comes from the dating apps, not the porn. Not corn. Sorry, not corn.
That is not about male behavior. That's strictly
about
no.
The 80-20 comes from females' behavior and their choosing patterns.
Thank you.
So let me make sure I got this right before I can read this next super chat.
Yeah.
If a woman don't choose you, that's a bad thing?
No, it's not at all. Okay. No, what we're saying is that 80% of women choose 20% of men. And this has been proven across multiple dating apps. The biggest one, Tinder. And I said, it's like another doomsday statistic because guys are just like, well, damn, if I'm not that 20%. And when they hone in on this 20%, it's the guys who are, Tinder added the height thing, the 6 feet, the guys who are in shape, the guys who got a little bit of money to them. And those are the guys who usually do pretty well on Tinder. And for some reason, it's like, I know, bro. I know. So it's like, no shit, they're doing well. But you feel me? That's women's choosing patterns.
And remember, out of these 80%,
no, here's the problem. Here's the problem. So here's the problem. Even the women that have no chance with those guys only choose those guys. They don't even work in the middle. They're delusional. Hoflation is real. But it is.
So they're not looks matching with the 20%, which is it skews the whole dating paradigm off. Because once upon a time, before the internet, you probably would have paired off with whoever was in your physical radius or whatever. Now we're expanding the reach like infinitely. So it's not like infinite choice leads to paralysis analysis. You know what I mean? Analysis paralysis, where you just can't choose. All they want to choose is the best of the best of the best.
So let me ask you, would you say that?
Here, I gotta make a real point though, because let's be real, 80% of men aren't in shape. 80% of men, are barely making past maybe 50K. That's a sad reality somehow.
So
even with that,
wait, hold on. Let me read these last two super chats, then we continue. Or last three. Bad Doug $5 says that 80%, the reality is 80% of guys are cucks. That's a fucking fact. And 90% of these niggas is gay. C-Can Treble $5 says, Panna later for hood. Appreciate you. Kuna Coons $5 says his entire solution in a nutshell. If all these niggas would just be like me, everything would be right. No, I don't need niggas to be like me. I need niggas to be better than themselves. Just that simple.
To be
Andrew, 420 reform member for 6 months. He's a guy's gulag stand up. Appreciate you. All right, y'all go ahead, continue. And by the way, anybody, if y'all want to come up, the link is playing. I'm not charging hood with being on camera. I ain't never seen this nigga on camera before.
But please be making all statements. I feel like we're having a pretty fair debate here.
I don't typically misbehave on or off camera. I'm usually safe.
I kind of misbehave on Drip Show a little bit, but it's all good.
It happened. Yeah, it happened. It's just the internet. Would y'all say that the 20% of men is the manosphere and the red pill?
I mean, that's just the average. Yeah, why not?
Well, actually, no. Here's a problem with the red pill. The problem is it be the 6-foot dudes in shape, got money and all this, is trying to give all the advice to the guys who are like, 5'9" and below. Yeah. And I think these guys need their own little hero, like their own little 5'7", I don't know, alpha, and they do exist.
A short king.
They need a short king out there.
Need
a diamond chain.
The manosphere does not need to nominate a short king.
We do need to nominate a short king, bro. We need a nomination. There needs to be a ceremony. He needs a crowning, all that.
No, I think I feel like a lot of these conversations are just born out of dishonesty. Like even when you're criticizing the manosphere, like there are criticisms I could make about certain things being taken too far. Like, and this is conversations I have in real world where like over a certain age, you should expect women to have children. Because a woman over a certain age who's never had a child, you start to ask questions why, and the answers are typically dark. And so like the whole thing about single moms, you just have to have a lot more discernment, because after about 30-ish, 35-ish, they're going to have a kid, and you're probably going to have a kid too. And it starts to look fishy when people don't. And so like when the manosphere says things about, single moms never da-da-da. Yeah, if you're 20 Yeah, that makes perfect sense when you're 20. But by the
Mhm.
time midlife and beyond sets in, you just have to be a lot wiser about how you judge people. So there are a lot of criticisms to be made about the manosphere, but I think people start out way on the like, I need to make women feel better, and that's where their criticism starts.
I agree. I do agree. It does come from somewhere of somewhat simping.
Brother Omni and Brother Wrestler, what's going on? Welcome to the show. What's going on with y'all? Hope all is well.
What's happening?
Well, morning, gentlemen.
Y'all niggas' microphones is low. I gotta put my headphones back on. Hold on. God damn it.
Is that better?
Okay,
No,
yeah.
nigga, do not try to use no damn sexy voice.
Nigga throwing a 4K mic.
So his voice came through extra crisp. I'm like, hold on, bro.
Right. So
Niggas be having Firestone mics and
Forget
shit.
I got the God mic.
this
Go
nigga,
ahead.
all right. Wrestler Omni, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to y'all. Y'all give us what y'all got, and then we continue with the conversation. Because I got some shit that I gotta say, and it might piss a few of y'all off, but y'all be okay. I promise.
Well, I'm confused what the focus of this conversation is. Is it the men doing better for themselves, or is it, you know what I'm saying, women's is hoes, women's is hoes,
Yeah,
women's is hoes?
it's kind of all over. I've been asking myself various questions throughout the time. I think that men should absolutely be focusing on themselves, but even the whole point is, I think somebody said something about people settling down, whether it was men or women or whatever, I can't remember. But I also was asking the question, what is the criteria for, quote, settling down if most people are average?
I guess the criteria would be that I would say women in their younger days would try to, if let's say they're 5 in their younger days, are going to try to shoot, for a guy that's a 7, 8. But as they get older, I guess as the red pill guys like to say, they're going to start, dwindling down, watering down the guy that they want, and eventually they'll settle, they'll marry, and they'll just work with that guy. So I guess settling comes with time.
Sure, but so you gave the equivalent that you say for women. What about settling down for men?
Well, to be honest, I think settling down for men, it all depends on his options if that's the case. Because women always have way more options than men. Men, his options are a bit more limited. Now, if he's one of those guys that has multiple options, then I'm not sure. A lot guys who have a lot of options usually don't really settle.
When you say options, are we saying options for relationships or options for sex?
Yeah, sexual options are
well, that's the problem. Sexual options can turn into relationships as depending on the guy, depending where he wants to take it.
But what also can I love the fact that you guys were just talking about short kings, right? Because what also can turn into a relationship? Provision. And money can be a thing that could be a very strong catalyst for women to stay.
That's true.
Well, this is the settling part again. And I know there are imperfections on either side, but the overall point I'm making is that everybody through human history has basically made a deal against survival. We will do these things together. I will accept you and your shortcomings. You accept me and my shortcomings. We'll forgive each other for our little mistakes. And we'll work together for survival and for growth. Ultimately, we want to grow what we have and give more to our kids than we came into it with, right? That's the deal. Now, people don't want to make that deal anymore for whatever reasons. My contention is that we've sort of created an overwhelming imbalance where women can logically say, I don't have to make the deal. I don't have to settle. I can fuck Big Dick Chad until I'm 55 years old and then retire on AARP, and that's good life for me. Shout out to Shiesty Bum. But in reality, that is not the natural life pattern of men and women. That is not how we built anything that we love.
So that still come. Now, I started to say a joke that sounds like penis envy, but my thing is this though, right? And I asked y'all. Well, I asked Omni and Wrestler. I don't think I asked Seth this question, but I asked y'all three: Seth, Omni, and Wrestler. Why does it always have to be about the women? Why? How come it just? If the conversation is about the bettering of man, why are we talking about women?
Because for a lot of men, that's their ultimate goal.
He took it. It's so easy. It's so easy to understand. I'm a person that's very much in agreement. If it's all about what men should be doing, or even about men betterments and how they get themselves better. When you hear the red pill talking points, where they say, "Get your money, get yourself in the gym." You have, even if you want to go back to some of our older songs, you know what they say? You have to get the money, you have to get the power, then you get the respect. Didn't say get the bitch first. It never said that. Nowhere was written anywhere in that. So the
You
idea
ain't
that
lying.
men are just willing to go do so much and just put the woman ahead of everything, which is kind of funny when you say it about that, right? Because think about it. There are so many men out there right now that's putting the woman ahead of everything else they got to do.
Pedestalizing.
Isn't that kind of the thing that the women used to do? They used to think about the
Yes.
wedding, they used to think about everything else, and they never even think about the man. The men are now thinking about the women before they start picking up everything else. That's a problem.
Absolutely. Set Omni, y'all got it?
Well, honestly, I kind of agree with bro. The man do have to make himself better in order to get women. I kind of see from like a hunter perspective in a way, because I mean that's kind of how my dad laid it out to me. He's like, well, I'm be honest with you, got to be a good hunter before you can get the prey. You don't just walk out there and get the prey. You got to work on yourself as a hunter, and if you're the best hunter, you will get the most prey. I was like, okay.
This has always been the math. This has always been the math for me. Sex, box, however you want to terminalize it. It is a byproduct of success. Success will always bring you sex. It will always give you access to women. What I'm hearing is that because men have been up under some form of oppression from government and from women that is empowered by government, that men don't have access to these things. My thing is that is a false narrative because there's tons of broke niggas who gets pussy.
Yeah, you just
can I comment a bit on that one?
You kind of just said two conflicting things though. You said sex.
How was that conflicting?
You said sex is a byproduct of success, and then you said broke niggas get pussy.
Yeah, but two things are true at once, right?
But don't those conflict? Aren't those truths that conflict with each other? Now you have to resolve that confliction.
Yay and nay. Because one thing we're talking about, like two things we're talking about, right? They have the will and the skill part, or rather skill versus talent, right? There are plenty of people who have to build themselves up and they build skill and repetition, right? We were having guys were having a conversation about how are they broke niggas that are out here and they're out here getting pussy when other guys is out here, they have to work their way towards it. Talent, if you want to look at it that way, being tall, being relatively good looking, look at these things they're just talent. They were just things that were just given to you. You didn't necessarily have to do anything for them. You just won the fucking lottery. It's really what it is. Versus the guys who have to actually build themselves up in order to become these particular things. There's a difference in that. Now, one is going to be long-standing for the good run. What like we say, oh, the guy who has money, he has skills, he has this, he has people in position, he knows a good network, everything. And the guy who has dick just has time.
Mm-hmm.
Which one is more valuable?
Right. When you
Well,
say
I mean, we're talking.
Which one is more? I feel it's like the Nepto baby versus the self-made.
Right. We're talking about skill versus talent, because talent could always take a rest day, but skill will get past them. Which one do you want to be? Do you want to be the skillful one, or do you want to be the guy sitting around with talent?
I think Sal, you kind of overshot a sort of reality that you were trying to describe when you say women reward success with sex. I think that is a patriarchal concept. Women don't necessarily think like that. Women reward their desire with sex. Whoever sparks their desire gets the box, right? That has nothing to do with your success in the real world as a man. Maybe your genetic success in the sense of I got the 6'3", big dick, long hair genes or whatever, but like they're not rewarding necessarily your economic success. That's a measure of how men judge men under like patriarchal rules where you have to provide for my daughter or something like that. Women are motivated by money, but I think there are a lot of other layers to it. I think it's too simplistic to just say they reward success with sex. We have way too many examples of them just liking a guy.
Can I evolve your argument? Well, my own point, but your argument. Instead of saying success, I would say opportunity or potential.
No dispute there.
I forgot the potential argument. Yeah, I totally forgot about that one.
Because women do give sex to men that do have potential or the potential that they see in them. But now, in the hood service, you might get mad. Your chat might get mad. It's up to the man to act upon that potential. Go ahead.
I just want to say, God bless you, women that give it up for the potential of a man. I have gotten it.
Shout out to potential.
Y'all the real risk takers out here, man. Y'all the real risk takers.
Love your women.
Oh man.
I love
women of potential.
When I was catching the bus, but a woman saw my potential. Oh my God!
I appreciated you.
I appreciate you women out there giving it out on the potential. That is
so.
God bless y'all.
But now, do you turn? So for the women that gave it up to you, just because they saw the potential in you, should you now step back and say y'all women is hoes because y'all gave it up for free?
Not exactly. Again, I say these are skill issues, meaning that as a woman, you'll never knock me off this point. It is your biological imperative to secure fathers for your children.
Secure fathers for the children or secure husbands? Why would you wait? Why would you
that?
hold on, huh?
What is the biological difference? What is the fundamental biological difference in our positions? I say secure fathers, you say secure husbands.
You said that wrong.
It's factually the same thing though.
No,
husband, father, it's the same role. Protect the provider over the children.
No, sir.
No, it's not.
Her husband, well, not her father, actually. Maybe let me be very delicate in how I say this. She is to secure a husband/father for the benefit of her children.
That's totally different. That's different.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Not a direct father,
her securing a mate for a great father to be able to be the person that's going to provide for the children is totally different from what we were hearing before. It made it sound like her father was the one that.
No. I get you. So let me clean up the language.
She was working towards her father, not her husband.
Let me stand on that point, though, with the language cleaned up. It is her biological imperative to secure a father/husband for the benefit of her offspring. If she fails to do that, how is that not a skill issue on her behalf?
Now, I don't disagree with you on that, but I'm going to step away from that to ask this question. Whether she choose the man to be her husband, it is up to that man to become the husband, right?
Still a skill issue.
You're talking about the women. I'm talking about the men. It is his job to choose whether he's going to be a husband or not, right?
If he doesn't want to be her husband and she insists on giving him all of her, how is it not a skill issue on her behalf?
He don't fuck her. He don't invest. He don't fuck.
It's like you can't think outside of the paradigm that you're locked in.
Oh my God! What paradigm?
Honestly,
if she wants to give him
in front of a lion and saying don't eat it.
Hold on. Say that.
Here it is.
Say that again. You say it's like. You said hold on. You said it's like doing what now?
It's like leaving a steak in front of a lion and saying don't eat it.
See, okay, but see, this every time y'all make this argument, I always got this comeback for you. Just because the steak is put in front of the lion does not mean the lion has to eat it, even if he's hungry.
Thank you.
You don't have to.
How many times?
What if he's hungry, man? Like in relation to the guy? What if it's big days?
How many times have you seen jaguars? Have you seen cheetahs? Or they'll sit there with a potential prey and they won't eat it. They'll even protect other animals from it.
Tainted or something. No,
I see it all the time with these white people that keep exotic animals.
Facts.
Like that's.
But
are you talking about pets? You want men to behave like
animals?
You're
literally
describing domestic animals projecting men.
Hold on.
Scientists have said. Go ahead.
Hold on. Andre says this sounds no different than debating Sharon Bressy. I guarantee you this. You fucked up when you said that shit. I damn sure ain't no motherfucking Sharon Bressy. Sharon argues in support of women. I argue in support of better men, regardless of what the women are. That's the difference between me and Sharon. See, this is what a lot of you niggas get fucked up and you get misconceptualized. I'm not arguing for women to be better. Them women got to choose to be better. If they don't choose to be better, then they're just going to get left in the wayside. I'm arguing for men to be better because the message from men should have nothing to do with women. That's my argument.
When I made that point about women making decisions and letting them suffer, you were like, wow. But now you're literally almost word for word repeating exactly my position, which is unless they improve, then they can suffer. And it is not my job to feel bad.
And this is where my argument comes in. I don't see a woman being left to the wayside as a position of her suffering because what happens in her life is her life. That's not her suffering. That ain't got shit to do with me. You know how many women I done left to the wayside who not just threw the pussy at me. I'm talking about delivered it with a golden bowl and it was still dripping.
When I said it, you were like, wow, as if to imply this nigga went too far. But here you are now standing in my footprints.
And this is where I say you fell into my trap card. That's not me saying that you went too far. That's just me saying that you're too focused on what she's not doing. If that's not the woman that you want, who gives a fuck if she's single or not?
Listen, women are the other side of the equation. You can't separate them. You can't solve this without women, bro.
Sounds like you got kryptonite, man. Sounds like you can't say no. You got an addiction.
That's what it sounds like to me, yeah.
Well, we're not necessarily talking about me, but if you're gonna put like again, you're putting steak in front of the lion, and then you blame the lion when he eats the steak.
Here's the funny part. Like what you're saying is something that when you're saying that point, right? The whole putting the steak in front of the lion, it reminds me of the scene of the Jurassic Park. We've all seen the original Jurassic Park, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. We go they roll through, they see the area that has the T-Rex in it. What they do, they put up the goat, right? The T-Rex didn't want the fucking goat. The T-Rex wanted to hunt. So that's why they didn't do shit.
Well, the T-Rex is operating on its natural principles. And again,
so why can't your natural
is a man's natural principle to not spread his seed?
To everything that everything?
Not everything, but as a woman, you get way more encounters to have sex with a man than a man gets chances to have sex with a woman.
That's like saying
the average man does not get
human beings never does that. That's like saying human beings.
I think most guys will take their any chance to satisfy their sexual urges.
Because most guys don't even get the chance. You're talking from the position of the 20 where you can turn women down. Be in the position of the 80. A lot of niggas don't know what it's like to say no to a broad cell.
Oh wait, can I jump to that real quick? Because here's the funny part about it. We're acting like also as human beings, we haven't understood what the colors or what the significations of predators are. Poisonous things we tend to avoid. Why is it all of a sudden when it comes to a wet box though, we can't see it's poisonous and we can't say no?
There's camouflage. They're very well camouflaged.
Apparently, you don't have a good sense of smell and a good sense of discernment.
Sounds like you're not a good hunter.
So every nigga,
sounds like you're a shitty hunter.
Sounds like you're a shitty hunter.
Family court for the last 30 years is a bad hunter.
No,
that's your proposition. These niggas are all bad hunters. When I say women are suffering from skill issues, you balk. But you can say men suffer from skill issues and say it with your chest out.
You can't say that you're a good hunter just because you can hunt everything. You're a good hunter when you can go after the one thing. So it sounds to me like men want to be absolved for hunting anything with legs instead of going after the trophy. In that turn, it's not the trophy's fault, it's the hunter's fault.
A good fisherman catches fish. I think you're putting a lot on this, bro.
But no, because all berries look tempting, but not all berries should be eaten.
We're kind of like we're metaphoring our way off of any core truth at this point. We're now battling metaphors, and we're gonna lose track of what we're talking about in a second.
I got y'all had some pretty good metaphors. I was like, well, damn.
Well, I'm just saying it's a simple thing. And Seth, going back to the point that you made earlier before we went off the rails. It's a simple thing, Gov, about the whole steak and being in front of the lion. Bro, a lot of these niggas is not lions. A lot of these niggas is hyenas. A lot of these dudes is prairie dogs. They scavengers. And am I one to shame a man for scavenging when the only thing that he is around is scavenged meat? No. But here's the thing, though. The bones is not the only thing that's available. It's better meat out here. It's better bones out here. It's better.
Actually, not that much of it though. That's the problem. So when you said
not that much,
it's not that much better meat. Listen, as a culture, we are producing women who are not fit for partnership and marriage.
As a culture, I mean, as the new generation. I mean, I give you that one. If the new generation,
as a culture,
I mean.
Ours is maybe 60-40 on the negative, but the further back in time you go, the prospects were better. So the further into the future you get, the less marriageable people become.
Are you talking about black culture?
I mean American Western culture. Black is a niche of it, but yeah.
Okay, so American Western women. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, black, white, anybody in this country.
I blame the secularism.
So you know why that is, though, right? You do know that it was effeminate men that pushed this, right?
To some degree, maybe.
No, I wouldn't say to some degree. I say, well, the only reason that feminism exists is because of men.
Well, in corporatism, like, remember, because it was a good way to drive down wages to bring in, more people into the workforce, aka women.
Yeah, and I've learned recently that there were a lot of men who were pushing feminism, but I think it was one of those sort of upper elite type of arguments. I don't know that the average man wants feminism. I don't know. I haven't found any evidence of that, but yeah, there were a lot of men who were pushing who were pushing feminism from high up in the pyramid.
Oh, I mean, you can see it today. I mean, no disrespect, you can see it today. Just look at any father who has nothing but daughters.
maybe.
That's true though. You
This
know,
is-
you
this
take the
is the
emotional
thing,
aspect
so-
of it. I mean, you do want your daughter to have that opportunity to be whatever she wants to be.
No, because women are hoes. Women ain't shit. Women should be subjugated under men. So why
let's
do you
go
give a
then,
damn?
man. No, I like her. Let's go.
Why do you care if it's your daughter? If it's you talk about somebody else's daughter, y'all don't care about that. Let's be for real. But why feminism actually came about is because there was a whole bunch of men that were abandoning their children in the early 1900s. This is why feminism actually came into play. This is why the laws that you exist under today actually existed, because men were tired of taking care of other men's responsibility that were lackluster and not doing what it is that they were supposed to do. Now, I came up here to pose you a question, and Red Illusion, you can suck the retarded ass part of my pink behind booty hole, that whole part. Now, let's say that women ain't nothing, and you know, they're just choosing whatever they want to choose. What is it that you gonna do? Women not choosing you. Women don't like you. Women don't want you. You're not good enough. You're not qualified. And you can't survive without women, but women can survive without you. They don't need your penis and they don't need your money. Now, what are you going to do as men? Are you going to create AI sex dolls in order for you to get your rocks off? Because how it's sounding, how y'all sound desperate. Y'all sound like if anybody drops you a piece of coochie, you're going to take it because you know that you're not worthy. And because you don't want to do anything better to get a wife, to get a family, you'll just take what is parceled out to you in portions. So as men, you gonna let women keep controlling you and dominating you and the system that you created, or are you gonna pick your dick up and get your shit together and stop crying? Because at the end of the day, this wasn't even a critique about the manosphere. This was Cellulite talking about the documentary that he saw. But as soon as y'all saw the word manosphere, oh, broke niggas unite. Dusty niggas unite, whack dick unite to defend the men.
No,
shit.
Isn't feminism a movement of broke women uniting?
no.
I mean,
No,
Why do they always need money then?
Well,
it's not
I'm
about
real
women
with you.
needing money. And this
I
is-
almost
No,
said
I'm real.
something
We
very
still do
controversial.
control women. Let's be
this is the
real.
problem.
True.
I
It's
control
about,
is very
it's about
controversial.
the
Wait. We
children.
can't have 8 people talking at once.
It's about the
So,
children
Rob,
needing
Ansett,
provision. It's about the children needing provision. That was the whole
Well, they are
cornerstone
broke.
of the feminism movement. No, it's not about women.
But here's
It's
the
about
thing, though.
the
Wasn't
children.
there more
It's
fathers in the
about
house
men.
back then than now? So
No,
does that-
no,
I
there
believe
wasn't.
so. I believe our house was
No,
way
there
better in the
wasn't.
40s.
No, there wasn't. That's why they created these laws, because these men were
You
going to
said they
war.
came in the 1900s,
These men
not the 40s.
were going to the gold rush. These men were going away and they were leaving their children. Do your research. Look up the laws. This is not something that I'm making up. You can look it up for yourself.
Yeah, but that's
And
not because
even
they're being
the shotgun-
irresponsible, though. They got to work. I mean, that was everybody across the board. You're right.
They gotta work. They wasn't taking care of their children. Like, I'm literally
You
telling
said they're
you,
going
law.
off to the gold rush. I mean, that's taking care of their children.
That's not
Providing.
taking care. That's not taking care of
They
their
literally
children. They were
went to
not taking
find
care
Yes,
of their
you got to
They
work to
literally
take care of
went
your
to
kid in
get
that
gold.
time. I mean, you're not
Care
really
of
being
their
like fair to the time to their
hold
time.
on.
But they were not taking care of their children. They weren't
Yeah, they
sending
were.
money
If
back
you out
home.
there in that gold mine,
They
busting your
probably got
ass,
killed
you
by
back to your
They
life.
were.
Wait, hold
They
on.
created laws.
Wait.
Okay.
It's 19 people talking at once. So
I'm sorry.
they went to go find the gold. Did they find the gold? How many people actually found gold?
How many died on the way?
Not many.
How many died on the way back? Like,
No,
you
how
just
many
did it
blaming
for
men
their
not
family,
even
so they could
showing up.
provide
Like,
for their
niggas
family?
died.
Okay, so listen,
Niggas literally died to feed women,
hey yo,
That
niggas
is
died.
the standard of leadership. Like what?
That's for
The
men.
standard of leadership for men starts at death. I hope y'all understand this by now.
But I'm the one
Yeah,
trying
no,
to
we
give these men
understand that. I
credit.
don't think
I'm
she
not trying
Okay.
to say they abandon their children. I'm the one trying to give them some nobility to their cause. Like, yeah, they went to go
Okay,
find
so
gold.
they-
You know how
they-
hard it is to dig
listen,
gold out of a
Nobility.
mountain?
They died
Nobility.
they died a
Nobility.
noble death. They died a noble death going to get gold to take care of their children. Some niggas died on the way, some niggas stayed, other niggas found other women. That's just the way it went.
And some
Would
of
y'all
these
agree
women
with
had a
this?
man as soon as that man left to
Listen.
go get gold.
Congratulations, but we're not talking about the women.
As a man that stands right next to active aircraft turbines on a nightly basis, I don't give a damn what you're talking about. So,
There you go.
like a lot. I know a lot of dudes that died on the way to get some pussy that wasn't theirs. I
That's a
know.
fact. He's not lying. He's not.
I
I do
don't.
know some dudes. I'm not.
Wait, you said dudes that died on the way to pussy that wasn't yours?
On
That
the
wasn't
way to
theirs.
get some that wasn't theirs. Their wife is at home, and they went somewhere. They went elsewhere to get some tail across town that wasn't theirs, and they died in pursuit of that.
Marriage rates were better back then, so
You know why they were?
We're shitting on an era that everybody wants to get back to, though.
Not
I
everybody.
don't. I'm good.
No,
I am good.
Not
I am
everyone.
good.
Hell no.
We don't.
I love how
I mean, we
how
wanna
they
get
want to
back to those numbers, not that era, though.
We don't want a
They want to
world
go
where
to
more
everything they know
people are
nothing
married.
about.
You want a world where more people are married and more people are stable? Yes or
Hold
no?
on. I'm gonna let Wrestler answer that because he was trying to talk. Go ahead, Wrestler.
It's so funny. We hear all the time about this whole era, this era that they know nothing really about, that they really never experienced, but they just harp on. It's such a great fucking time to be here. They forgot about all the other things that were also there as well.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the starting point was how awful the era was, and I'm saying no, it wasn't all awful. All the things that you say you miss are what that era had. And now you want to ignore all the good things by only talking about the men who allegedly had families.
Hold on, I want to make this point. I want to make this point. So in the
everybody
40s,
had slavery 100 years ago, bro. We can't derail the conversation because everybody was.
Hold on,
slaves
guys. Hold on. In the 40s, the marriage rate was at 78.8%.
Wait.
Now it's below 50%. So yeah, we do got to look at that time and wonder, like, all right, how we fall off?
Why did they have to get married?
Because women had less economic and social mobility.
Was it just the women in that time?
Mostly, that's the biggest change. Women had rules and restrictions that wouldn't prevent them from
So
providing.
it wasn't because niggas
living
was
alone. No,
Thank
men
you.
had the money.
So
all
what?
they
You
had was each other.
Wait. Are you
Sorry.
talking about like the Dust Bowl? Are you talking about the
Women-
Great Depression? Are you talking about economic downturns where
Women
everybody was struggling?
linking up with white
So
men.
all men had the money.
Here.
Said
Well,
niggas
come
as
on.
victims.
Mhm.
I'm confused by
What are we
everything he just
doing?
argued for.
What is
Because they confused. They don't know what the hell they be talking about.
Hold on. So wait. Like, what are you confused by though?
I'm confused because he just made two different arguments that just went completely against each other. That's what I'm confused about.
I literally said, well, from back in that time, I literally said that all they had was each other. Are you telling me these black women were linking up with white men, linking up with Spanish men, linking up with Asian men at the time? No, they didn't. All they had was each other.
I mean,
and what's bad about that? What are you saying is so negative?
So Jesus Christ, I love how he just skate past every.
I'm trying to
He's
understand.
not. He's doing it on
connection here.
purpose. He's
All they
I
had was
know.
each other, and what's the downside here?
So in other words, the only time that you think that we should be together and figuring it all out is only under desperation.
Well, no, I'm not saying only under desperation, but listen, difficulties are
What were
made
the
what brought
options? They
people
just
together.
got free. They were under Jim Crow. What other options?
So are you saying that without the desperation?
No, I'd like to
survival,
answer the question.
Are you asking me? Are you saying that without the desperation of survival and oppression, you can't expect women to play ball?
Look at the results, sir.
And that's my point. Women have way more mobility and way more freedom, and they're not going to play ball. That's been my point.
Due to who?
Doesn't matter. That's where we are.
No, it matters. The results matter.
Due to men.
The results matter.
So
results matter.
Men change the game, and now women don't want to play ball.
I mean,
Hold on,
I think we're missing the main numbers here. I don't think anybody's addressed the. Hold on.
I'm gonna go back to self. Put it on the men then. Let's talk about the fucking men.
So the men have to fix it, right? So we don't need women in the conversation. We can just let the men figure out what we want to do and then just come up with a new rule book, right? Women need not be included, right?
You can't because you know why?
Now we have to talk about the women now. Oh,
yes,
so the women matter now.
The new rule book included women.
So now the women
matter.
matter.
The men that did it.
So, Sel, when you keep asking me why you keep bringing up women,
don't bring me into this conversation. That's your argument. I
women matter, right?
No, that's not his argument is not my argument.
No. His argument is not mine.
They
You
sound
can't.
so much alike.
Good luck negging on a contract that you decided to put them a part of.
What men wrote this contract? Men today didn't sign these contracts, so that's why men today are unhappy at the nature of the deal.
I appreciate
that you said that.
If men didn't sign up for those contracts, then here's what you can do: stop talking about yesteryear.
Stop talking about when things were. You want to stop talking about when things were better?
Stop talking about yesteryear because you can't go backwards.
Hold on
Yeah,
now.
we-
Hold
Wait,
on, bro.
let me
Hold on.
real-
You're not. Hold on now. We're not really being fair here. We're not being fair.
Wait,
We're
no,
not being
hold on,
fair.
Ted. Hold on,
Yo, you
Ted.
gotta remember.
Hold on, Ted.
Hold on.
What actually was better about the 40s? I'll wait. Because you do realize that was the period after the Great Depression. That was a Reconstruction era. So what actually was better?
They
You
Since
niggas
you want to
did-
talk
you
about
niggas-
third grade history.
They call them
Man,
the
man,
Hold on. Wait.
May-
After he answers, it's Set, and then I heard Omni next. After, because baby, you just asked a question, so let him answer it. Then Set got next, and then Omni.
Well, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. I just want to remind niggas that I'm
I'm
just saying. I'll be right back in case you know what I'm saying. I just wanted to say.
Uh-huh.
You niggas didn't have Wi-Fi in the 40s. I just wanted to say. All right.
Amen.
Goddamn fact.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, well, maybe that's a bad
marriage
thing
rates
then,
were
if that's the
better.
That's
case.
true. That's true.
Birth rates were a lot higher. The social cohesion in just Black America in general was a lot better. Remember that cliche about living in a neighborhood where you didn't have to lock your doors at night, living in a neighborhood where they tell this joke about, well, if the neighbor down the street saw you misbehaving, the neighbor give you a beating, and then you get home and they tell your daddy give you a beating too. Those were memories of the 40s. All of our best memories of the best of Black people come from like the 40s and 50s. It was after the civil rights era that we started to see things go down precipitously. We started to see a lot more single moms, started to see a lot more urban chaos. We started to see a lot more political unhappiness or whatever. Well, maybe the political happiness is a moot factor, but the social dynamics in Black America in particular were a lot more stable.
Oh, bro, let me cut in on this, bro. From the 40s to the 60s, the Black community seen exponential growth, like economically, family-wise, all that, all positive markers across the board. Like, but from the 40s to the 60s, by the time we hit the 60s, due to how well we were doing with marriage, family, and all that good stuff, we were seeing an economic boom.
Oh, we did? Because
respect-
the way that I
Yes.
know that history exists is that
Economic
in
independence.
No, it wasn't economic independence. There was
we had more Black, we had
1943.
Black-owned businesses.
There was a 1943 Detroit race riot. There was segregation. There was people having you said the 40s and the 60s. Yeah, from the 40s to the 60s. 1943 is in between the 40s and the 60s.
Yes,
right?
but you're
So
picking
when we
and
say
choosing,
that,
and you're not actually addressing the timeline I presented to you.
No, I'm addressing
both of y'all
what I'm
can't talk.
saying, so you're trying to cut me off. But
I'm
at the
sorry,
end
go
of the day, from the
Mhm.
40s to the 60s is when Black people were getting burnt. It's when Black people were segregated. It was major segregation in the southern states. It was a mass migration to the northern states. That's when Jackie Robinson got introduced as a first major league ball player in 1947. 1943 was the race riots. 1941 is when we started to be integrated into the military of World War I and World War II. In the 50s and the 60s, we had our people slain, light, bright, damn near white. Look up the history. There was issues with going to school
No
and
offense.
schools. There was people were being killed and tortured. Our people were being killed and tortured. And at the end of that, in 1964, they unleashed the birth control technological revolution, which annihilated shotgun marriages. They were trying to get rid of children. What are you talking about? Y'all keep talking about a better time, but y'all got revisionist history. And this is why I don't be having conversations in these spaces, because y'all don't know y'all history, and y'all be talking crazy shit because you romanticize a time. You romanticize a time and you undermine all that Black people have gone through because you feel bad about the women that you can't get and the relationships that y'all can't fucking control. Get y'all shit together. Stop being on the internet crying and complaining about bitches that don't want you. They don't want you. Fucking move around.
Raw, let me ask you a question. Add on to that. The idea of them.
Wrestler, hold on, let him respond, and then you got it, Wrestler.
Now, like I said, and like I'm glad you stated all that because thank you. We succeeded with all that included. We were succeeding. We had more family structure. All that. You're proving my point. So this is what sucks. Now that we're going through less of that, how do we have lower numbers? Now that it's less harder on us. Now that we have more opportunity. Now that the white people are just a little less racist with their laws. So why are we losing now?
Because
they're not less racist with their laws. Let's be clear.
I mean,
they're not less. They're not less racist.
They're not.
They're not. They're not less racist with their laws, and it's
All
not
right,
easier on us.
Hey,
Because if
know
you
what changed
actually,
that?
what do you mean?
Hold on, wait. You
Or
know
then
what changed
your
that?
ancestors died for nothing. Then
Said, you know what
your
changed that?
ancestors suffered for nothing. Then if that's
Said, you know what changed that?
absolutely they did. Absolutely they did.
Wow.
Hold on, babe. I mean,
Wow.
you can't run around. You can't run around and say it's easier on us, and then say per capita, and then say per capita we're institutionalized more.
I never, bro.
You
Hold on
can't
now.
say
You're making a whole other point outside of mine.
No. That it's easier on us.
It was easier.
It's easier on us.
It is.
So in medical care, where we're not getting treated adequately medically, that's easier on us.
Yeah, a lot of Black Americans are actually getting medical care. You're over sensationalizing that.
When we have officer-involved shootings that actually target Black men in America,
more white people have to get shot by officers. That was proven by a Harvard professor who's actually Black, by the way.
That's easier on us.
Well, according to the statistics, yes.
The fact that the statistics and the empirical data you guys always want to use as a plot point against Black women, all of these numbers, how Black children are suffering and everything else, you think it's easier on us.
Babe, hold it down. So, you know, this is my argument set. You know what changed the game for that? What was that, 94? Was that 94? Yeah, the 94.
Guys. Do we have it better than our ancestors or not?
Right now? No.
Wow.
We don't. You know why? I can tell you why we don't.
Wow,
because we're not. I can tell you why we don't. If we're talking about specifically just the Black community, I just want to make sure we're talking about that, right?
The Black community? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we don't have it better than our ancestors right now. And that's not because of money. That's not because of opportunity. That's just because of the fact that we're not together anymore.
Okay, so you're taking out key markers, though. So
no, I'm not taking out. What I'm taking is this is what I'm taking into account. What it meant to be Black and the pride of being Black and how it was that community was a thing of pride, and how it is that Black people looked out for each other and came together to solve these different social economical problems. That was a great thing. Right now, today, in this day and age, niggas can't even decide on whether or not they want to be about bettering themselves or if they want to just judge and shame, blame, explain the women. And the women is right now it's this dick and pussy conversation of these niggas, these bitches. You see what I'm saying? The problem is it's too much discourse, it's too much disruption, it's too much individualism of, oh, I'm better than the next, or I want to be better than the rest. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, you're speaking socially then.
Yes. Economically.
I can agree to that.
No, so socially, to the point where even to add on to what Sal's point, we still have, quote, African Americans today that don't even want to acknowledge that the African Americans. They're talking about their Native Americans. They totally totally fucking credit and discount the fucking actual Indians that were here, the actual Native Americans.
You mean the FBA guys?
I mean, you just had pushback though. You said we were better off. So, and this is
hold on now. He didn't disagree with me.
I know I was still speaking. But here's the thing: you sit there and you say, societally, I guess I could agree that you're right. We're not better off. So when someone says to you that we're not better off, you're just arguing for argument's sake. We're not better off.
No, ma'am. Because I don't think you heard his argument. He was talking about in relation to each other. That's why I said socially. He wasn't talking about economically. He wasn't talking about.
We're not better off. The point is that we're not better off
medically.
We're not.
And I mean, we're
not better off economically. We're not better off medically. We're not better off socially.
You gotta let him finish too.
Socially among each other. So I'm just like, okay, I could agree to that, but economically, medically, and all that good stuff, I don't agree. But he did satisfy the social argument.
Black people's economic ceiling for the past century has been $120,000. White people's economic ceiling has been $1 million. So how are we better off socially when the constant is stagnant? I'll wait.
After your answer is restless.
Well, we do have way more millionaires amongst the Black community. I mean, just because you ain't winning, sis, don't mean there ain't other people winning. So that's just a you problem.
Hey,
First of all, I'm actually
we winning.
I'm actually winning
because she's talking like it, dog. She's talking like everything's all bad. Listen, you can't tell like everything's all bad, but I'm winning. That's why I said we're doing better than ever. Hold on, bro. What she said right there proves my point.
Yeah, but no, that doesn't prove your point.
Because 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 70, a Black woman like her couldn't even do what she's doing right now. That's my point.
Actually, 60 years ago, Black women like me were doing exactly what the fuck it is I'm doing right now. That's why we have Rosa
on the
Parks.
internet.
That's why we have Angela. That's why we have Angela Davis.
Able to make a living?
They were doing it in real life. They were doing it in real life.
Dude.
That's how your civil rights movement was moving. That's what gave it the most.
Well, thank you for once again proving my point. How we progress towards a better what? Towards better
No.
laws for ourselves, towards a better
That's not better.
society
It's
for
not
ourselves. Thank you
better
for proving my
laws.
point, because you brought up the civil rights. Because of
It's not.
or
it's
then the
not
civil rights never
better
mattered then if
laws.
we're not doing better then. Then fuck the civil rights movement, because we're not doing better, so who cares?
Civil rights actually didn't do us no justice. Did
Oh
you
my
forget
God.
that
Then
Martin
why are you
King
talking
said?
about it?
Did you
the civil
forget
rights
that
was a piece of
Dr.
shit.
King? Did you forget that Dr. King said he incorporated us into a burning house?
Yeah, I remember that. He's a Marxist. I get you
Oh,
on
okay.
that one.
Okay, but when now he's a Marxist. It's
I
always
heard
an
that.
excuse. There's always a reason. It's always a reason. It's always a reason.
I mean, he has some good sayings, but bro was a Marxist.
The reality is this. Those laws, we have people out here making strides and trying to make change, but the civil rights movement, being that it died in 1968, effectively has not been beneficial to the African American community, and the laws that have followed that have been severely detrimental to the community as a whole. As far as medical treatment goes, you do your own research. I'm tired of doing research for you so-called men and leaders on social media.
We have the
Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second.
treatment
Hold
in
on.
the world,
Hold on.
Do the metrics.
Wait.
Do the metrics.
Hold up.
Do the
E-Black.
metrics.
Hold up. E-Black in the chat says that was not MLK. That was his friend. Bullshit. Martin Luther King was a piece of shit. Martin Luther King was a piece of shit. I've said that for forever.
Oh God, yeah, he's ain't shit.
He was a piece of shit. All right. So really quick, Omni, I know you just came back, but Rest, I had a point. Huh?
But
let me just share this real quick. And then this the last piece of research I'm gonna do for y'all niggas, because I'm tired of dumb niggas.
All right, pull it up. Come on, what you got? Because we gotta go.
I know I got a live at 12. Add it to the stage.
Oh shit, hold on. I gotta remove that. Yeah, all right, come on, what you got? Now, E-Black, hold on. E-Black, if you come up here on this bullshit, I swear to God, I'm gonna cut your black ass out. But wait, hold the turn, E-Black. Go ahead, baby.
The gap was so large that post-emancipation, that even equal earnings and saving rates between black and white individuals would have resulted in a wealth gap that, though half what it is today, would have black individuals holding about 30 cents for every dollar held by white individuals. But we equal, but we better off. And I'll put that in the back chat for you. I need y'all to stop living in this fucking delusion, in this la la land.
Hold on,
black
you brought
people
up one
not
metric.
really.
There's many metrics to success.
Let
her finish. Hold on, let her finish.
There's plenty more. There's plenty more to show the economics of the African American community. But what I'm not going to do for you is think for you or walk for you. You're a man. You're a leader.
Woman,
and black men. Okay, you're going to cut me off, so I'm going to put your ass in the back. And black men, as leaders, should know the pulse of the economics in the black community. You shouldn't be sitting there and waiting for women to explain it to you like you're fucking dumb. Now,
the champ is here. All right, this is my shit right here. The champ is here.
Now, Sal, you just did to the panel what's been done to men for the last.
There are black
years.
men. There are black men out here that are trying to educate you and bringing you knowledge and common sense. And then you call them bootlickers and you call them coons and you tell them they should be Democrats and you try to emasculate them and you try to belittle them. And that shit is not okay, because your pursuit is pussy instead of manhood. Shout out to Angry Man. Shout out to Cellulite. Shout out to Omni. Shout out to Wrestler. People that be out here giving you fucking good goddamn knowledge. Stupid motherfuckers. Bye, y'all.
Bye, baby.
Now, it's interesting that she would use words like emasculation.
Hold on. Hey, Angry Man, your mic is hella low.
It's low? Hold on.
Yeah.
It's interesting that she would use that
word.
Say,
you can come back, bro. You can come back because you just cutting her off. Damn.
I would like
don't let him run. Bring him back. Bring him back.
Reiterate,
well, he left. He left. I'm trying to. I told
No.
I think she kicked him.
No. She dropped him. She didn't kick him. She dropped him down.
She removed him from the conversation so she could run roughshod. And what I'm saying is, what just happened? What just happened on this panel is what has been done to the men of this country for the last 75 years. You will suppress.
Hold on.
You will empower the woman to suppress the male conversation, to suppress the male interest, and then act as if the men did something wrong for being unhappy about how things turned out. Even though what was his name on the man that she just kicked? Set was just making a logical rebuttal. He was rebutting her point logically without any animus, even though she was giving energy and some hostility. He rebutted logically.
And here's the problem. He was interrupting. That's why he got put down. He didn't get kicked.
Hey, don't let. I hate that she kicked him. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I hate that she kicked him because I got nothing but pure smoke. I got nothing but pure smoke, and his ass better not run. I got you.
Yeah, I wanted to ask him some questions myself because
the other day I told his goofy ass that Islam wants to destroy the Western world. He basically called me a bigot and a xenophobe, and I got the proof that I told his goofy ass that I was gonna bring him. He thought he was gonna be safe on these YouTube streets. Now you're gonna have to eat all of them words you said, little nigga. Don't you run. Bring your ass back up here.
That's a whole different fight. I can't help him in that one. He on his own.
Nobody.
Well, the question.
Can I
can't help that nigga.
Please have a word in, please. Can I?
You wait a minute for a second, E Black, because as black as you are, you should be used to waiting in line.
I just want to point of reference conversation.
So here's the thing. There's a woman. I think her name is pronounced Ayan Hershey Ali. Do y'all know who here's her Hiri Ali, something like that. Do y'all know who that is?
Never heard of it.
Okay, this woman is a scholar. She used to be in the Islamic world. She has been on Joe Rogan. She has been on Fox News. She has been all over the place. She's been at colleges lecturing, and she gives validity to every single argument that I made the other day to this little nigga. Not to mention the fact you just saw what happened in New York, right? With the dude throwing the thing.
Two of them.
When he had the conversation with the police, he told him, if I didn't do it, somebody else would do it for the blessed prophet. I told this dude the other day that anybody that follows the prophet Muhammad, if they are in the Islamic world, this is what they believe in. He tried to say something about his dad used to be Fruit of Islam, but he too slow to understand that Fruit of Islam is not the same as the Muslims in the Middle East. It's not the same. So I need him to bring his goofy ass back up here, because he said, he ran last time, and then he had the nerve to say, well, we can have this conversation again. Caught your ass up here, nigga. Come on back.
Well, said if you listen, I tried to call you, big homie, but come on back if you want to.
Come back.
Probably not.
He's gonna come back.
This is YouTube policy. And also, by the way, let me just go ahead and say this where everybody start getting their hurt ass feelings. My wife is my wife. If she chooses to put you down, she put you down. This is our house. If you cutting off and being disrespectful, you're gonna get the treatment that you get. If you don't like it, there's always a panel that you can fire up on your own. Other than that, my wife wasn't saying anything against black men. If anything, I would say, like I've said since the beginning of the show, y'all the reason that y'all are in this position, because y'all keep trying to victim, like Hood Server said himself earlier. He said, "Are black men not victims?" I'm sorry, there's no victimhood in masculinity. But because niggas want to keep painting themselves as victims, and niggas want to keep putting themselves in a position where all they can do is talk about the women, y'all can't focus on the growth of men.
Hey,
hello, everybody.
Hold on for a second.
Hold up.
I need to respond to this, but
my goodness. I was trying to make a point to the both of them when they were both on.
I was trying to fact check something that was said 10 minutes ago, and y'all keep talking about the same shit.
Well, talking is just a primitive form of communication, brother. Who has smoke with my sis? Which one?
She has smoke.
It was just the guy. It was just the guy who was up there.
And I was making a point about the nature of what just happened, and kind of highlighting my argument based on what she just did. How
all she did was put him down. She didn't silence him.
But listen, this is your woman. That's your wife. This is your home. This is your space. You control this space. Now you have the men in this space under your invitation here. We were having a conversation, and she takes the privilege, because she is your wife, to come in, say what she wants, how she wants to the men. Now, we're not going to respond to her in kind because she's your wife. And no, this is what I'm saying is this is the nature of what's been happening in this country, where women will get put on television in front of men to run your HR department, run your office or whatever, and they can behave.
how they feel because they're women. They're allowed that latitude. And the man that puts them there gets to have his hands clean. And then the men who are unhappy just get pushed away.
And all of you men, first of all, that ain't what's happening here on YouTube. What's happening here on YouTube is all of you men, this is what y'all do. If it's a woman you don't like or you disagree with, then y'all will call out the injustice of women getting to have privilege and the men don't get to speak and all of this. But if it's a woman y'all like, y'all be sitting there shinning and grinning and smiling and shucking and jiving.
Angry man, just be honest. Some of these guys want Sharia law.
No,
Excuse me.
That is
hold on a second. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. There's a lot of niggas that back motherfucking Pearly, but y'all got something to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's be honest. Let's call it what it really is. I came up here, I gave my perspective and a point rooted in history. Because you're trying to mischaracterize what history is and what history isn't. And I could come with hard empirical data, statistics, and facts. Y'all niggas getting your feelings. That has nothing to do with me. And as I always let y'all speak and get y'all point across, whenever I'm speaking, y'all just feel the need to try to overtalk me because I'm smarter than you. And it is not my fault that you choose women that have no substance because all you care about is how you can get in between their legs. And then you get upset because the women that you choose that lack substance but will give you pussy, give you kids that you have to now pay for, and you don't want to be attached to them financially, but you're not really attached to the woman, you're attached to the child that you created. See, if y'all spent y'all time trying to educate and elevate yourself instead of trying to denigrate women that you say are not even worthy of you, you would be better off as a whole. Don't blame me because I have a father. Don't blame me because I don't have children out of wedlock. Don't blame me because I'm picky about who it is that I choose to have sex with. Don't blame me because I know men that don't have no problem turning down no pussy. Because if you're not desperate, you could turn down 150 bitches every day on Sunday because you got options. Y'all don't have no options because y'all are desperate and marauded. And when people try to give you education, give you the game, you rather give back because you need to be a victim. And yes, I do have privilege on my husband's panel. Notice that I said my husband. Where's your wife? Where's your bitch? Shout out to Corey Holcomb. Explain the bitches that you fuck with. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go the fuck on, but don't ever get it twisted. I don't have to hide behind an avatar. I'll come out here with my whole motherfucking face and tell all you motherfuckers to kiss the pinkest part of my black ass. And don't be mad. And don't be mad because men like Cellulite, men like Omni, men like Angry Man, men like Wrestler are chosen because they have enough discernment, enough self-pride and wherewithal to not choose whack-ass bitches. Oh.
I mean, not for nothing. She was making the point which made me think about it when he was still up here. I was like, listen, because he was making the whole thing about they were having the conversation about what black people are doing better or not. And the whole thing that got put into a point, it was about the fact that we are still, quote, still together. But as they were both having that conversation, it hit me. I was like, but keep in mind, even when you talk about people not being together because people are more single or people are blah, 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 I was like, do you not remember that it was Spanish and black women that were used in the study in order to make freaking birth control? How many people were able to give up their actual fucking lives so that they could be able to do this kind of stuff to people? How many people lost their lives in the whole thing of that? So I'm like, so the idea of saying, well, we were better off back then, but it was also people who willingly gave themselves to the studies of actually having birth control, which led to that fucking outbreak of what we have now, what we don't have in the community. So we kind of have to put it back on
connecting those dots, bro.
Say what?
Having a hard time connecting the dots you're laying out.
I'm pretty sure you are.
So
if you're
let me get a baseline of exactly where we at, because some people just got here. And matter of fact, let me give a shout out to everybody who came up in here. I seen Messy Michonne in there. Shout out to Messy Michonne. Shout out to the Angry Man for pulling up. Appreciate each and every last one of y'all in the chat that's throwing super chats like a motherfucker. I appreciate each and every last one of y'all. Make sure y'all hit the Cash App and the super chat on your side. Whatever platform you are watching on, please make sure you like, sharing, and following. Other than that, this is why we are here. I opened up the conversation criticizing the documentary that was put out on Netflix by Louis Theroux about the manosphere. And my base conception is that this is the reason why it is that I don't consider myself manosphere, nor do I consider myself red pill, because of the simple fact that this conversation, when it comes to the betterment of man, should never include the women. And what I mean by including the women is, why are we as men talking amongst men about bettering men, but it always got to be brought up about the women, the women, the women, the women, the women. That's why we here.
You really just gonna say that, bro?
What do you mean?
It should never include the women.
Well,
Unbelievable.
It should never be about the women. It should never be about the women. You see what I'm saying? It should not be a gathering of men coming together to come up with all the transgressions about the women, and then all it just be is just saying, band, explain. This is why when you asked me earlier, about Kevin, that's why I said Kevin. To be honest, I've never, like I said earlier, I've never said it publicly, but Kevin was wrong about a whole bunch of shit, and in more ways than one. Everything.
So after just 5 minutes ago, from hearing a woman say you niggas ain't shit, you don't study, you don't research, you was emasculated, you wasn't doing this, you wasn't doing that. All of a sudden, it's not about the women. That should never be in the conversation. Now it's women should never be in the conversation.
Who is? No, I said the conversation
was
should not be
literally in the conversation.
Hood, you were listening.
This is that victim. This that victim shit. This that victim shit I was talking about. Was she talking about you?
She was talking about men and a conversation about men.
Well, okay. All right, hold on.
I'm here.
Hold on, wait. It's 20 people that want to talk. Hold up. It's 20. Hold on, wait. Hold on, E-Black. It's 20 people that want to talk. I'm gonna do this in cycle. I'm gonna go Omni, then Angry Man, then Wrestler, then E-Black, then Chris. Go ahead.
It's like, and I hate to say this about a brother, right? It's like you heard what you wanted to hear instead of hearing what was actually
like a woman, right? Like a woman, right? Go ahead, Angry Man.
Oh my God.
So you're gonna invite a woman into a conversation full of men and say women shouldn't be in the conversations about men, and you don't feel nothing wrong with that?
Go ahead, Angry Man.
So I don't know what Raw's position was, but I came up here, like when I saw little buddy up here, I rushed to get on here for smoke. So since he's not here, and I got to give somebody this smoke, I'm going to defend Raw's position, whatever it is. So let's get it. I don't even know what her position was.
My nigga.
AM said I'm in battle mode. I came to fight. It don't matter who I got to fight.
We all here.
What was her ultimate position?
I think she was telling Set Media how things are somehow damn, I forgot what they was arguing about, honestly.
So
about the 40s. He was saying shit is better for black people today. She's saying it's worse for black people today since the civil rights movement. She's literally saying we are in a worse off position since the civil rights movement. He was saying, no, how could that be? You won the war and made all these social gains, so you're obviously doing better. And she's like, no, because I don't know this to that and the third. So you take
MLK integrating us into a burning house, XYZ, etc.
Okay, and that's where I kick in. This is where I kick in because that was not a statement by MLK. It was written in a book. Hold on. It was written in a book by. Hold on. Goddamn! I said 3 words. It was written in a book by Harry Belafonte 5 years after MLK died. And then it's not even in the right context. He said, even in the context of leading people into a burning building, the next statement after that is, I guess we're going to have to be the firefighters. It's a statement of leadership. It's not a statement of the state of current blackness. It's a state of, hey, if you're going to go to Mississippi, if you're going to go to these places, you need to make sure that your leaders are ensuring the welfare of the people that you're putting them in a position for. So it's an overused quote that has been bastardized because nobody wants to do the research. So that's the only reason why I came up here.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Martin Luther King was a communist pervert. So why do we give a shit anyway?
Well, here's the thing. I wasn't even going that far. But the point is, but he said it, right?
No, he didn't. That's the point. Nobody can
No,
verify
you
that he
said there was
said it.
extra contact. You
Well,
say he
the
said it, but
point-
there was more
No.
added to it.
No.
Well,
I
here's the
said
There
I
was more
did not
added
say
to
that
it.
he
Hold up.
said it. No,
Hold
I
up.
never said that he
E
said it.
Black,
I said that it was written by Harry Belafonte
Fonte,
5 years
Gotcha.
after
Okay, we got
his
that.
death.
Okay.
Well, nobody. Well. Here's the thing, right? Nobody really gives a shit whether or
Yeah,
not
fact.
Dr. King said it or didn't say it, right?
Mhm.
Because if you actually did your research, all of the shit that Dr. King did not really benefit black people.
Facts.
Didn't really
Well, look.
benefit black people.
It didn't.
Look, if we're questioning the civil rights movement, I'm going to start to reiterate my earlier points of the past is how we got to this point. So the changes that came out of the civil rights movement gave a lot of social and economic mobility to women, which is leading to the gender friction that you're having today. How do you separate these things?
No, that's not where the gender friction is.
That's crazy.
That's not where the gender friction is.
Okay.
Like I used to believe that's where the gender friction is, but the reality is the gender friction is where it is because you niggas ain't shit.
Thank you.
There
That's
you
the
go.
problem.
There you go.
And
That's
on top
the
of that,
problem.
do you know what the social mobility of women has gotten us? Do you know the name Marion Croak? Dr. Marion Croak. PhD. I know a classic soundbite of Kevin Samuel saying I'm a PhD, but the PhDs back then are a little bit different than the PhDs now. Just saying. She invented the technology for VoIP, voice over internet.
Telecommunications. Yeah.
Telecommunications, which means if it wasn't for that black woman, if it wasn't for that sister, you niggas wouldn't be on StreamYard all day talking about women.
I can tell you one thing. I don't give a fuck
female heroes out there.
I don't give a fuck who get pissed off about this. It's just the truth. The only reason that a lot of you niggas even speak the way you do is because y'all was inspired by Kevin going off on women.
Ooh.
That's why y'all speak the way y'all do. And that's why, and honestly, I'm just being honest. A lot of you niggas wouldn't even have a voice if it wasn't for Kevin, but Kevin wouldn't have a voice if it was for corporate.
Would you argue, Will, that just maybe that's where the men lost the plot?
Absolutely.
Because
100%.
Because I predate Kevin.
Absolutely.
And when I came here, the entire mission was the improvement of men, not the constant complaining about the women.
That's been my
however,
point.
However, when they make documentaries like the one that you made, which the one that you saw, which I have not watched, and I have no intention of watching because ain't nobody called me, ain't nobody asked me to be a part of the shit.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me wonder, first of all, who the hell is in it?
Sneeko, Myron.
Sneeko.
Oh, wait. I gotta tell y'all, because here's the thing. I'm being honest, and this is what I said.
You judging us by Sneeko, my nigga?
Hold on, wait, nigga. He asked the question, and Hood Servitor. That's why I'm thankful that you've been listening since the beginning. But it was about HK, Tiki Taki, whatever his name is. Myron, Sneeko, Andrew Tate, of course, the Tate brothers. Rolo Tomasi wasn't even mentioned. Nobody from the Black Manosphere was mentioned. This was only about white Manosphere. That's literally all it was about.
Pretty much.
What's my man's name? Justin Wheeler, Heller, whatever his name is.
I know you're talking about Jay Weller. Yeah.
Jay Weller. That's who was in this. And I said this earlier. Mm-hmm.
So basically, somebody made a documentary about hip hop, and in the documentary, they had Kodak Black, they had all the Johnny Come Lately niggas, and none of the people that was really originators of anything.
Absolutely correct. Yeah, Coach Greg Adams wasn't even mentioned in it either.
So guess what? Guess what?
He was in the Diddy doc though.
To Hood Conservative or anybody else. This is why. This is the problem. That ain't got nothing to do with the women. This is the problem. The problem is the men are what's the best way for me to put this? You know how women can be fickle in the sense of shopping and trends, where something can come out and it's a trend, and because it's popular, they latch on to it. This is how the men treat the freaking manosphere. And that's why the shit.
I agree.
That's why the shit doesn't work. It doesn't work because they latch themselves on to whatever Johnny come lately sensationalized individual is popular at the moment, regardless of what their message is.
Yep.
That's the problem.
And exactly. Now, E Black, what you had said, you said that Dr. King didn't say that, right? You said it was Harry Belafonte, right? So
Yes,
let's see what
it's very much implied. Hold on. I'm clarifying what I said. It's very much implied that he could have not made that statement, but even after he made the statement, it's taken in the wrong context. That's my statement.
Okay, so now I'm gonna show you two videos. I'm gonna show you Harry Belafonte speaking about his conversation with Dr. King when Dr. King said that to him, and then I'm gonna show you Malcolm X telling you the context of integration into a burning household. See, y'all really be playing with me. I want y'all to really understand. I've been marching for Black causes.
You're a woman.
I've been marching.
But once again, how does that invalidate anything that I said?
Hold on for a second, E Black. But Raw, I'm trying to figure out why, even if let's just say hypothetically that Dr. King didn't say that, and it was Harry Belafonte that said it. I'm trying to figure out why these niggas is bothered by that. Any other time,
bastardized.
Any other time, well, y'all have sat here and listened to Kevin bastardize my shit the whole time.
Okay, that's fair.
Y'all done sat here and listen to countless niggas bastardize my shit 24/7.
And that's the point.
Do you care?
Because that's the point. Because not only that, it's weaponized to discredit a movement because it makes it seem as if okay. Exactly. That's the point. That's the whole point.
I mean, you wanna keep the sanctity of a movement that took out your biggest leaders. You want to keep the sanctity of a movement that took away Fred Hampton, that took away Martin Luther King, that took away Malcolm X, that took away the Black Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
Now let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and listen to.
Y'all made me pull to the side of the road. That ain't cool, dog.
I'm just wondering how does that
but just listen.
Okay, go ahead.
Because you said Dr. King didn't say it. You said it was only Harry Belafonte that said it.
Hold on, no. Once again, I keep saying the same thing.
Wait.
I keep saying the same thing. Do not twist my words. I said that.
Hey, E Black, you know what you sound like right now? Angry Man didn't say it because I heard Kevin say it. That's what you sound like. Right?
No, I did not. I'm not even saying that.
I'm telling you.
Why do you guys keep?
That's what you sound like.
Why do you guys keep twisting my
let
words?
me put it in the
I'm literally saying this. I'm literally saying this. I am saying it could be implied that Harry Belafonte made those statements to sell a book after his death, and then you cannot verify he said that. But then not only that, it's taken out of context. Used.
And so, can't nobody verify all of the talking points that Angry Man told Kevin. But you know what you can pull up on video? Kevin using the talking points.
Wait a minute, but this is the thing. This is why I'm not only going to show you what Harry Belafonte said, I'm going to show you what Malcolm X said. See, that's the verification. Because while people think that Martin and Malcolm had all of this beef, they really didn't.
Yeah,
they really did
a lot together.
Exactly. I think it's gonna play now, babe. So hold on.
Go ahead.
No, play from your side. It's whatever. Fuck Instagram. I hate
Look
Instagram.
at God. Look at God. Look at God.
Not to protect. You said look at God.
Put the volume. Yep.
Felt that with all that we'd done to fight for truth and to fight for community, to fight for integration. That he had come to the conclusion that he was afraid that we're integrating into a burning house. I asked him if he felt with all of this energy that we'd expended for peace and for brotherhood and human harmony, if you're integrating into a burning house, what would that make of us? What would we become? And the remark was very simple. We're just going to have to become firemen.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly my point.
What I just heard is that
Exactly the
man
point.
actually said it.
Hold tight. You talk about exactly the point. So what
The man
is
said it.
exactly the point, E
What
Black?
does
That
that
doctor,
mean?
hold tight. I'm asking you a question. So before you answer, at least hear the question. What is exactly the point? That Dr. King said it, and we have to step up, which means we're not any better than when we started, or he didn't say it, and Harry Belafonte just said that to sell a book. What is the point?
Which one is it?
Both. Wait a second. First of all, both. Because one, Belafonte is selling a book. He's selling a story. You cannot verify the story that he's talking about. He can say it however he wants to say it, but you cannot verify that. Also,
Okay,
the point.
so then let's listen to Malcolm.
Hold on. God damn! Every time I speak, y'all cut me off. Then he says, "What does that mean for us?" That means for us, the leaders, the people who are trying to make this movement go forward, we then become what? The firemen. So it's not about the integration. It's about trying to make progressive progress and having.
So,
You
question.
know how asinine that
Wait.
whole soliloquy you just belted out.
They didn't get nowhere.
Didn't make no damn sense, because why the hell would somebody move into a burning fucking building? What are you talking about, bro?
Let's listen to what Malcolm had to say.
The white power structure to slow down that struggle for freedom and human dignity uses tricks. 100 years ago, they could do it with chains. Today, they use tricks. And one of the tricks that they've invented is this token integration, to get Negro, so-called Negro leaders to accept a few token crumbs of integration that don't solve any problem for the masses of black people in this country whatsoever, but it does make the hand-picked Negroes be satisfied, to slow down the cry of the masses. And a good example of that is, as soon as the spirit of rebellion or revolution began to spread among the masses of black people in this country, and they began to take an active part, and they showed that they weren't confined to this nonviolent approach, then the government or the power structure began to sit up and take notice. And now, as you said earlier, the president is talking about new legislation and to put it, take it out of the streets and put it back in the courts. Why? As long as it's in the streets, it's in the hands of the masses of black people who will not compromise or who cannot be bought out. But when you put it back in the courts, then that puts it back into the hands of the hand-picked Negro leaders, who will allow the judges and the other persons that are involved in this white power structure to slow them down. It's only a trick. And as long as the masses of black people are involved in the struggle for freedom, not integration, but freedom and respect as human beings, respect as men, and show that they're willing to die to be respected as men, then the power structure sits up and takes notice. But as long as this mass element is led, and when I say led, I use led in quotes, actually contained by Uncle Tom Negro leaders who hold them back, who tell them turn the other cheek, and things like that, then the white power structure isn't worried at all. They're only worried when they know that the masses of black people are ready to explode, and in exploding it will destroy some of the furniture in their house, and then they react accordingly.
And then they react accordingly. Bay, take that out for me, because my mic.
Once again,
How does that invalidate
anything I said?
Because I believe I was sharing that for a purpose, and I'm gonna say the purpose.
It invalidates what you said, because, well, in my humble opinion, the problem with you Negroes is it's the same problem that you have today. You was listening to Martin when you should have been listening to Malcolm.
Right.
That's my opinion, but that's what y'all always do. You listen to the ones that's the most popular. You don't listen to the ones that actually give you the real solutions.
And this is what the biggest problem with the manosphere is today. And I said this long time ago. The biggest problem with the manosphere is y'all listen to the ones who pretty much sound like they hate women the most. That's the ones who y'all prop up.
Yep.
When
Yep.
the
And
truth,
that's
man,
and that's how they're easy, and that's how they are easily able to dismantle the
Mhm.
whole thing, because all they have to do is point to the individual and say, look at how he interacts with women. Look at
Mhm.
how he speaks about women. Look at all of these different things. You're never going to see a guy part of that particular movement that is speaking some real shit and is in a relationship, because that guy is more difficult for people to point at and say, oh, that's a woman hater.
and correct me if I'm wrong, Angry Man, the purpose of the manosphere was to produce better men that they could be capable of taking care of women and children, correct?
Well, the purpose was this. The purpose was for us on this side that would be considered black manosphere. The purpose is we felt that black men did not have a voice in America to air our grievances or speak up about numerous things. It wasn't just women, numerous things,
Right.
right?
That's true.
So
Yeah.
one of the main problems was black men were not in control of our image, right? There's a image of us that is constantly portrayed, that we're thugs, that we're drug dealers, that we're criminals, that we're all of these different things, right?
Yeah, Tyler Perry
And
movie video,
it's the
movie
Tyler
villains. Yeah.
Perry movies, the Color Purple, all of this, all of these different things, right? So the problem was we did not have control over the narrative of our image. We didn't have enough of a voice to say, hey, we're not all like that. We don't all move like that. We don't operate like that. Now, the problem that we were having with the black woman is part of that, because some black women have played a role in the perpetrating of that image. When you have the Alice Walkers and individuals like that, right?
Yeah.
So the problem then becomes a lot of the women in our lives, they only view us this way because of those images, because of the Alice Walkers, because of the crap that they put on television and in media to make us look bad, which is where part of that problem comes from. So the whole reason that we came here is to, one, have a voice so that we can tell our own story. And in the midst of that, the women that had seen all of those negative images wanted to come and tell us that we were lying and we didn't know what we was talking about, and y'all are sorry and y'all are trifling. And that's where the conflict happened.
And then on top of that,
The conflict, hold on, the conflict, let me just say this and then y'all got it. The conflict that happened between the men and the women, the gender war started because the women did not want to accept what we were saying about our character and our image, because they had been spoon-fed bullshit for decades. That's where the conflict started. And now it has turned into the main thing about the manosphere, which is, oh, these women is this and these women is that. And we've everything else has been pushed to the side. The male improvement side of it, the us having camaraderie and learning to get along and being able to deal with each other, like all of the things that were the original mission, fell by the wayside to one topic, which is the women don't like us and we don't like the women because they don't like us.
I think that was the conversation that Hood Conservative was having with Raw earlier. But I also, and I appreciate you putting it that way, but that was the response that she was giving, is that, and this is kind of sistering up to what I said. I understand the mission or the intent, Hood Conservative, what I was saying earlier, and I probably didn't word it correctly, but the intent may have been good. But what it turned into today is it just sounds like He-Man hate women, and that's why the manosphere as a whole is getting the attention that it's getting to this day. Do you get what I'm saying?
I think
sounds like somebody led somebody into a burning building.
No, not at all. I think a part of what Angry Man was talking about and black men, and not even just black men, this is a man thing across the board. Black men are not unique in this one thing where you're accusing men wholesale of almost everything that goes wrong in a woman's life. And a part of reclaiming your image or reclaiming the narrative about how you're talked about and how you're described in the world is actually pushing some of that accountability onto the women themselves. And I think that's also where the conflict comes in. When men say that I am not just the evil partner, I'm not the bad actor, or I'm not the only bad actor, that means women have to now hold some of these L's, and women don't want to hold any of them. And most of the time, when you bring up conversations and when you try to force the L, nobody wants to make them hold it either. And this is why we constantly have conflict. It's like, okay, men can accept responsibility and burden of whatever they've done. But anytime you ask, well, what does it look like for women to be held accountable? Conversation goes off the rail.
Okay, so here's what this is where the problem comes in right here. While the argument you're making has merit, I'm not gonna say it doesn't. The only problem is that's a later argument. That's an argument that has to be had after other arguments are settled. That argument comes later, right? The problem is, like I said a second ago, y'all are not taking into account the beginning of this. Like one thing you just said, which was completely flawed. You said that this is something that affects all men. Not true. That's bullshit. When you look at the manosphere, the original manosphere, respectively, right? The original manosphere is predominantly white men, right? There's a reason that we separated from the original manosphere, because I, for one, the whole reason why I started calling it the Black Manosphere is because I realized something when we were in those discussions on Badger Radio and A Voice for Men and all that. What I realized is black men were fighting for the respect of their women. White men were fighting to get back the control of their women. It's a different conversation. It's an entirely different conversation. The white men in the white manosphere are fighting to get back the control that they had over their women. The black men were fighting to get the respect that they felt they never got.
Can black men be respected by women without having control over them? Do women operate like that?
Yes.
I don't know if that's a possibility that we can entertain, because I think when you accuse the white manosphere, the white men of wanting, quote, control, I think the argument is with control comes more ability, with more ability comes more success, yada, yada, yada. And I think black men just throwing that away, throwing that concept away as if there's no productivity, no benefit to it, is a losing strategy.
You can't.
So
you can't control.
Why did this solo out?
You cannot. You cannot control. First of all, here's the problem. You cannot control women without oppression. You can't do it. You can't control them without oppression. The difference between a man that has a woman that he controls and a man that has a woman that she respects, right? When a woman respects her man, she defers to him. That gives the man the ability to control certain things, but it's with her permission. It's like what our government is supposed to be. Our government is supposed to be the people that's in charge are supposed to be ruling or governing by the consent of us, right? So we give consent for them to do certain things because we've elected or chosen certain people to be in charge of certain things. Outside of that, if you have a king or a dictator, they're ruling because they're dominating us, right? So a husband is supposed to be a individual that governs his wife by her consent. And the only way she can do that is if she respects him. The thing about it is, when you look at the men of the past, which is why we are in the current problem that we have, we don't have feminism because of black men. We have feminism because of other groups of men that have dominated their women. And when I say black men, I'm not talking about Africans. I'm talking about us here in America.
I feel like these niggas supported that shit. These niggas supported that shit.
This is the thing.
Going on a hunch here.
We've never dominated our women. We've never been in that position as black American men.
Right. So you are more likely to support feminism because you see that entire position as a hostile domination and not as like righteous, benevolent leadership. You called it governance a second ago. You gave it a nice, clean term, governance. Most men who come up in this quote matriarchy are not going to see it as governance. They're going to see it as hostile domination. Whereas I think the white man position is more of a governing position. He would rather govern than be governed by his woman.
Well, guess what? Here's the thing. Hold on. Let me address this. Guess what?
I think Angry Man is wrong.
Guess what? Here's the problem, right? What you just got through saying. If the men can't understand what I said, if they can't understand that concept that I just laid out, what they need to do is they need to stop acting like women. That's number one. That's number one. If they can't, because a man is supposed to understand logic. And the shit that I just laid out is pure logic and understandable, right? But here's where the problem comes in. And this is why the manosphere don't like me. It's because of this quote right here. Y'all don't want wives. You want slaves you can fuck.
That sounds like a feminist
quote.
That's not a feminist saying to men. That's literally what feminists say to men, though. That's exactly what feminists be saying to the traditional male patriarchal structure. You just want a slave you can fuck on, which is totally just denigrating the male traditional position. Acting like men don't love their wives, like men don't die for their wives, like the order doesn't require male sacrifice at its base, bro. Like that's literally how women just fucking denigrate the entire male concept.
So white men haven't fought literal wars and died in literal wars.
Everybody hold on, because the wife was trying to talk. Go ahead, baby.
Go ahead.
So this is the thing. This is the harsh reality that people don't want to realize. You want to hold women to consequence? You want to control the narrative in the situation? Let me give y'all a pro tip. Stop giving them dick. Stop having sex with women that you find to be unworthy. Stop creating children with women that you find to be unworthy. Because I tell you what, if men change the parameters and the standards as to which women get access to penis and money, then the behaviors will change, or they'll become lesbians, which means it's not your problem anyway. But the fact that y'all keep laying down with every flea-ridden dumpster juice smelling whore, and then sit there and be like, well, we can't control them. Do you have control of yourselves? I'm confused.
That's not gonna work, bro. It's not.
Why
not?
Work.
They're not gonna process that. They are not gonna process that.
Been too much time.
You just told them not to fuck. They're not gonna process that.
Too much time.
They're not gonna process that.
Happen.
See, here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? And this is one thing I gotta point out to you, hood conservatives. Just because a feminist said some shit does not make it wrong. Just because a feminist said something does not necessarily make it wrong. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. Okay? So the problem is when we talk about this particular thing, we don't want to acknowledge the fact that the reason we have gotten to this place in history is because the concept of the traditional male role is the control of the woman.
Control to what end, though? Just to abuse her, just to have a slave? Is
Just
that
to
charge?
abuse.
Is that men only want to abuse and enslave women? Is that your position? That men want control for the purpose of abuse and slavery?
Well,
Wait, whoa, sir. Earlier you were saying you were talking about number ownership.
Right. And let me say this.
Is it your contention that it's only for the purpose of abuse and slavery?
Excuse me, because I have to go. Let me say this, and then I'm gonna leave. Listen, I don't control shit in this relationship. I respect my husband, and my husband respects me. I know a lot of you women are not used to seeing that. You're not used to women being respected
he's a
by
good man
men.
who loves you, huh? I'm happy for you. I'm very happy for you.
I was saying something. I was just saying something, so you don't have to be sarcastic because you don't have a woman that you're loving on right now. I wish that for you. I wish nothing but the best for you. But at the end of the day, like how you get to a place where you have respect and balance in a relationship is by actually respecting people, by not immediately falling into bed with one another, like by building up an actual reverence for the intellect and the integrity, by actually putting some value on your genitalia. But you know, y'all keep going on your $40 dates and keep fucking these hoes. And when these hoes keep being hoes, keep fucking crying about it. Bye, y'all.
Y'all saving this nigga. Y'all giving him so much ammo.
Saving this nigga.
Y'all are giving him so much ammo. Y'all are saving this nigga.
Are they saving me or giving me ammo to use? Which is it?
Well, you can save a person by giving them ammo.
Facts.
That's true.
Shout out to Ukraine.
You guys are great gunfight partners.
What you're doing right now, brother, is you're in defense mode. And as much as you have an issue with what the women are doing, you're defending and fighting right now, just like a woman. You refuse to hear my logic simply because it's challenging your logic. You refuse to hear it because it doesn't
hearing to respond
because it doesn't give you what you want.
Okay,
that's how women listen.
I don't agree, but okay.
That's how women listen, and I'm not trying to insult you.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it fine. It's okay.
Okay, we all have come up under a feminist structure, so we all do some feminine shit from time to time, right? So I'm listening to what I'm saying logically, right? Objectively, right? What I'm saying, there is a subtle nuance. There is a very subtle nuance. I'm not saying that a man is not supposed to be king of his castle. I'm not saying that a man is not supposed to be the controller of his household. I'm not saying that a man is not supposed to be the ruler. Okay? The only problem is this. If you approach that from the aspect of I have absolute control over my woman, you're going to fail every time. You're going to fail every single
assumption.
time.
That's an assumption.
It's not an assumption.
That was not a part of our dialogue. That was not a part of our dialogue. You're inserting that at this point.
Okay.
All I was asking, Angry Man, is it your contention that men want control for the purpose of slavery or abuse?
No, what I'm saying,
of course not.
Listen, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that was when I said men today seem to just want slaves they can fuck. I'm not being literal. That's number one. I'm not being literal. What I'm doing is I'm trying to express to you how that shit comes off. That's what I'm trying to express to you from the position of the other human being that has to submit to that. Okay? So the reason why that situation always fails is because regardless of what the traditional male position is, a woman that you're marrying is another human being that is a fully grown adult that you cannot control.
I accept that, and nor do I expect you to control with abuse or violence or anything.
Am I wrong in the fact that you literally teed that all the way up by first talking about the difference between the white and the black manosphere and how it's already left? You teed it all the way up.
The white manosphere of wanting like some type of slavery over their women, where the black men want some type of noble co-partnership. Like, no,
he literally made the
distinction.
He literally made distinctions.
That's not what I said.
No, you said the black men want to be respected and the white men want control.
No, he said we never been in a position. He literally said that.
Black men never had the control.
We've we've never been. Here's the thing: we've never been respected,
right?
Because of our position as black men. Because of our position as black men, we've never been respected. So respectfully, we don't even know what it looks like. You
and
think
my thing is right there. Respect looks like giving me control, angry man.
Okay, look, respect is the woman giving you control, but it's her consent.
Correct.
I said give, bro. I said give. I'm not taking. I want her to give.
Okay, but this is what I'm trying to tell you about white men. White men don't give a damn about giving consent. They don't care about that. White men, have you listened to Andrew Wilson talk about forced doctrine?
Listen. As black men, I think when we play, I've heard you. I know forced doctrine. Fine. Let's not just go down this path, because I want you to understand, as you cut the floor from underneath him, you have nowhere for you to stand. Because as far as these women, these feminists, and all these arguments are concerned, you are the number 2. So when they cut the white man's patriarchal ability, they're going to cut all of your ability, because you're going to have no argument to defend you as to why you need control and authority.
We never had the same floor as the white man.
You're not listening to what I'm saying, right? I don't give a damn about feminists trying to cut the floor out from under white men's patriarchy, right? Because we are men. What I'm saying is that we should define our own damn patriarchy for once. We should define our own patriarchy instead of trying to acquiesce to white men's patriarchy, which has failed them.
How can you hard to understand? How can you go on and try to redefine patriarchy yourself after you've spent your life destroying the very concept?
Have you listened to what has been going on in the world? Their patriarchy has failed them.
Their women are gone and lost.
And so now we're going to follow the women and destroying patriarchy completely.
Who the hell said anything? See what I mean?
But that's what I'm contending. That's what I'm saying is happening. As you destroy that, you destroy any place for you to stand.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you this question, right?
Wait.
Let me ask you this question when it comes to men.
This is wild.
This is wild.
So the standard of black men is contingent upon the standard of white men.
White men, that's what he's saying.
That's what you don't get.
I'm happy
you control their realm. Period.
He's literally doing the thing.
He's literally saying it out loud.
Hold on, y'all.
He's literally doing the thing that is the reason why I said we need to be separate from the manosphere. This is literally why. Because you're trying to define your manhood by another group of men.
Bullshit. We just walked through the details just now. Look, when I said to you, respect looks like giving me control, not taking, not me being forceful, not me being a bully. As a woman, she's giving control. When I said respect is that, now you at the same time you're agreeing on getting control, but you say, oh, well, those white men, they want control, as if control is a horrible thing. No, men want control over their castle, period. And it's not a black-white thing. This is a masculine thing across the board.
No, there's levels to control. There's levels to control in the way that control is exerted. Okay? So here's the thing. There's a reason why black men across the globe, regardless of what type of woman it is, we're desired by other women. The reason why we're desired by other women is because most of the other groups of men, most of the other races of men, their model of patriarchy is the white man's model of patriarchy. And this is the main reason why when you look at other countries, you see women treated a certain way.
Wait a minute. On the other side of that coin, you're also saying that black men, when women don't want to follow the fucking rules of their goddamn house, they go fuck you niggas who ain't got no backbone. That's what you're saying. Have more backbone.
What?
You're saying because you're saying black men are the least patriarchal. You're saying black men are the least rigid. You're saying black men have the least structure. And when the women want to get outside of their rigid patriarchal structure, who do they go with? You niggas. That's what you just said.
That's what I know. No, even though part of your statement is true. Even though part of your statement is true. Part of your statement is absolutely true. Women do step out of the rigid patriarchal structure to get with black men because they know black men, because of our circumstances, don't have the rigid patriarchal structure. But that does not necessarily mean that that woman that stepped out from under that rigid patriarchal structure is going to disrespect the black man that she got with.
Angry man, you know what else?
You're missing the nuance. You're missing the nuance.
Trading off. I'm trading off. I'm willing to live without the other side. What I'm saying is what comes with that rigid patriarchal structure is group growth, group development, group respect, group territory, group wealth. The men of these groups have a stronger, more patriarchal network. That's when the women are women. They're going to go try to break rules anytime anyway. So I'm not even judging just on that. I'm saying the benefits of actual patriarchy outweigh the benefits of women fucking you.
But hold on. Here's the problem with what you just said, and you probably didn't even realize it. The reason why their rigid patriarchal structure creates and does all of those things ain't got shit to do with the women. Nothing. The part that you just talked about is how the men in those rigid patriarchal structures deal with each other.
True.
So you can, and this is where the problem is, brother. This is where the problem is right here. If the Romans take over a country, that country has a culture, it has a structure, it has all types of shit that probably was working. The Romans are not going to adapt to that simply because it's working. They're going to wipe that shit out, and then they're going to create their structure that works. Men do not have to acquiesce to the structure of other men because we are the builders. As a group of men, and I know black men ain't ever gonna get this because you ain't used to being nothing but a goddamn slave. You can build your own structure. You don't have to the wheel, bro. You do not have to be a carbon copy of another group's patriarchal structure.
Do not reinvent the wheel because it makes your wife unhappy with you. Put wheels on the car and drive that bitch.
That's not reinventing the wheel.
That's what it sounds like. Because what are you going to create that's not patriarchy?
It is not because number one, a wheel is a physical structure that adheres to the laws of physics. We're talking ideology. There's more wiggle room there.
What other structure that you would create that would match the productivity of a rigid patriarchy that is not also a rigid patriarchy?
You said what?
How would you create a parallel structure that competes with a rigid patriarchy that is not also a rigid patriarchy?
You can create a patriarchal structure that is absolutely rigid in the places where it needs to be rigid.
And as a black man, what do you mean by that? Because if we're doing it because black needs to be its own thing and not white, what do you mean? Because this is why I say reinventing the wheel.
What do I mean by that? Is you do what men have always done. They look at the things that have come before them and they say, okay, this worked, but this didn't. This worked, but this is, brother, matter of fact, I'm glad you brought up the wheel. I'm glad you brought up the wheel. I'm glad
understand, AM.
Hold on for a second. I'm glad you brought up the wheel. Do we still use wagon wheels or do we use tires?
We use the
I was
wheel
muted when I said it.
We still use the wheel. You can make a little bit of tweaking to the thing. You can,
and we're still using patriarchy. We're just adjusting it to the time.
But I'm asking you what that looks like versus what the white man says, though. I'm asking you to be particular. And
I don't give a damn what the white man said.
You're so hung up on doing what the white man did.
Your whole position is that he's doing it bad. He's doing it wrong. I'm like, fine. What does yours look like?
I just told you. I laid it
said
out for
some
you
metaphor about wheels and shit.
I laid it out for you at the beginning of this conversation. I said to you specifically, when it comes to our women, we need to deal with women from the aspect of you respect me, so because you respect me, I have the control. Not I'm going to dominate you and take the control. All other aspects of patriarchy does not necessarily have to change. You're acting like it's a package deal. You're acting like the only way we can build and grow and deal with other men is to abuse the women. That's what you're acting like.
Well, what I'm saying is that it was never really like that anyway. It's like we're describing Christian culture like it's like 18th century Islamic culture or something like that. Like, no. Most of these women were not getting abused as we built this country. Most of these women in America, were not suffering the types of abuse that you're charging men with right now. Like wholesale, just saying that, man. We said every man had his wife tied up to the radiator.
Check this out. Up until recently, you had in this country what was called the rule of thumb. You know what that is, right?
Up until recently, how long is recently, bro? Come on.
18 what? The 50s. The 50s.
Well, you guys were just advocating over. Come on.
The 50s. You had rule of thumb. We can literally pull up advertisements that have a white man with his wife over his lap whooping her ass like she's a child. We can literally pull it up, bro.
They're pictures. Her over the knee.
We can literally pull it up. Why do you think women latched on to feminism so hard back in the day? Why do you think they bought into that? I'm going to tell you why they bought into that. Because the elites at the top of the pyramid, they said, you know what? We need to be able to control these men at the bottom of the pyramid. The easiest way to control these men is to utilize the women. So what they did
step away for a second.
Was they gave women something that they knew women would latch on to. They said, hey, women, y'all tired of the men ruling y'all, right? You tired of the men controlling y'all, right? That's how they was able to infiltrate that shit, because there was a flaw in the patriarchy. That was the flaw in the patriarchy.
Angry man, no such law has ever existed in American or English history, as far as I can tell.
What law are you talking about?
The rule of thumb, it was like a folktale type of thing. It wasn't quite literally legal. And then we start getting actually in the case of the history, like in America, there was up until like I think after slavery, there was there was a less famous case, but a black man was an ex-slave. He got into trouble because he had beat his wife up. And he argued that he deserved the right to like punish his wife the same way the white man had or something like that. Like it wasn't the rule of thumb though, but like there have been laws that definitely did allow men some level of like physical authority over their wives. But at the same time, we're kind of making these things like a mythology that we all believe in.
To this day, the marriage license literally gives a man ownership over his wife.
If that were true, she couldn't just divorce you and take your shit, bro. Property don't take your stuff and run.
Oh my God!
But the fact that if she's working with who's generally the ones who's paying things out when it comes to alimony?
Well, whoever earns most of the money. And so up until recently, men were earning more money than women. Only in the last couple of years did women start hitting parity.
And how much are you hearing about women who are making a shit ton of money more? Oh, by the way, even when making a shit ton of money, when they're dividing specific assets, right? Do you hear how many men do you hear are keeping houses and cars?
How many men are keeping houses and cars?
Very few.
Even when she makes the majority of money, how many men are keeping the houses?
Very
the cars.
few.
So now
is that not part of the rule of thumb?
So I don't think you're abusing the term now. The rule of thumb is literally about the rule of thumb literally references you can hit your wife with a stick no wider than your thumb. That's what it refers to, but there was never an actual legal practice codified in British or English law. It's sort of a folktale. And this is what I mean about we've sort of adopted so much feminist theology that we are feminist theologians by default.
So if I go back to, because I'm looking at it right now, if I go back and I start mentioning how it's actually a part of Old English law from its true origins in the 1600s, I would be lying, right?
You
Apparently.
pull it up and I'll pull it up.
It's on Google. You go ahead. Just type in rule of thumb.
Appearing in print is
type in rule of thumb. Just type in rule of thumb.
I'm reading it. It originally referred to rough practical measurements using a thumb, such as estimating and inch or judging distances.
Keep reading.
The myth likely originated from 1782's satirical cartoon, which mocked Judge Sir Francis Bowler, nicknamed Judge Thumb, for harsh rulings. There's no documented evidence.
What did it say? True. What about say is about its true origins?
Some 19th American court cases referenced a thumb standard for
about its
beating,
true origins.
but these were not codified laws and were later rejected by higher courts.
Origin. I love how you skipped over you went to the myth part. I love look at the true origins.
Let me see if I can find more true.
The term likely originated from tradesmen such as brewers or woodworkers who use their thumb for quick, rough measurements rather than relying on exact formal tools.
The phrases date back to the late 1600s, referring to measurements. Thank you, because you already said it. Yes, thank you.
Why did they? Let me ask you a question, conservative. Why did Bill Clinton sign into law the Violence Against Women Act?
Because until 1994, you know,
politics, brother, politics, man.
Oh, politics.
What does that mean? Politics? No, I need more.
Wait. So what you're saying is I cannot put in the back chat right now a clip of Sean Connery, the original James Bond, telling Barbara Walters that when women get out of hand,
I love that.
Just
clip.
a little crazy. You just
I love that clip.
I love it.
That was funny. And you know what? Barbara Pussy probably got wet when he said that shit. You know, them bitches wanted to fuck Sean Connery. Stop acting like that shit was so bad.
So violence against women makes them want to have sex with you. Do you know why
he didn't hit her? He talked about. He made a joke to her about violence.
You do know that the only reason that law
Sean Connery wasn't joking when he said that.
Sean Connery was not making a joke.
Not even a little bit.
You niggas act like y'all want to hang Sean Connery. I can't believe
I didn't say that.
Oh no, we don't want
to.
We don't at all.
Right? Y'all niggas want to leave James Bond alone.
I didn't say that.
Not at all.
Sean Connery is right. Sean Connery is the real example of why they make the joke. What do you tell a woman with two black eyes?
Nothing.
You go.
That was the reality. That wasn't a joke back then.
The reason why
no.
So
here's
much,
the reality.
hold
in the same
hold on. The reason why we have those jokes and that satire is because of how prevalent that reality was, right? See, here's the funny thing about this, hood conservative. As a black man, you believe that the white man beat y'all's ass during slavery, but you don't think he beat his woman.
I just don't care that much.
Hold
on. You telling me?
Wait, hold on, conservative. Wait. Didn't you just say that I don't care as a cop-out statement?
I don't care. Well, listen. Let me.
Okay. So you copping out there.
I will cop out to what goes on over there. You know why? How is it that I'm supposed to be a slave getting my ass whipped, and I should feel guilty about the master's wife also getting her ass whipped?
Nobody said
that's
that.
A weird extension.
Nobody said that you should feel guilty.
No
one told you how to feel. No one told you how to feel. No one told you how to feel.
Nobody said that. That's not you, brother. Check this out.
My whole point is this. One, I do not believe that
you're
controlling your wife is automatically
your own, bro. You're running with a bro. First of all, you mischaracterize something, and then you're running with it.
Correct.
No one said that. The entire purpose, the entire reason that I brought that up is because you don't want to understand that there could possibly be a flaw in what we know to be white patriarchy. Mm-hmm. You just don't want to see that part of it because you believe that the only way that a relationship is going to work is if we go back to the archaic practice of men having total control over their women.
One, that's your charge of the white patriarchy. That's not. That's
No,
why
that's
you're
your whole misnomer. That's your whole shit.
But right, you're accusing white patriarchy, which really you're accusing all patriarchy of that. Because which patriarchy is not that?
What didn't happen?
What
patriarchy is not that?
How can you substantiate that?
What patriarchy is not that then? If the white man is uniquely guilty and evil,
you only know white patriarchy.
Wait,
you
so
only know white patriarchy.
So
what
if that's the only one there is, my point still stands. When you destroy that, there's no reason for your argument.
You don't know what any other form of patriarchy is.
Let's stop.
I'm asking you to name one.
Hold on, let's stop for a second.
Name one.
Let's stop for
what I know. It's your
let's
argument.
stop for a second.
You don't know any other form of patriarchy.
First of all, wait, hold on. First of all, here's the number one thing, right? The number one thing is this. You don't even know the fucking definition of patriarchy. You don't even know the definition of it.
So define patriarchy and tell me one that's better or worse than the white man.
Hold on. Your definition of patriarchy is actually the feminist definition of patriarchy.
Absolutely. Don't tell them that, though, Angry Man.
Wrong. I'm saying the feminists have been overplaying this idea of abuse and slavery. You brought that very statement up, and I charge you with quoting feminism.
But that's what you believe it is?
No, I'm saying it's more like a benevolent control. The same way.
What does that look like to you?
Just like when Robbie got up here a minute ago and said that she's not in charge of shit, and I said your husband's a good man who loves you, right? Most of it was based on that. A good man who loves you, who wants to provide.
Are all men benevolent?
The majority of men are way more benevolent than women, for one, and the majority.
That's not what I asked you.
That's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you. Men are a lot closer to benevolent.
That is not
Hold on, everybody.
what I asked you. I'm gonna ask you again.
I got you, AM. Real quick, I just want to point out what everybody. I know we all know this, but I feel like we got to encapsulize this moment in time because we just have to go over it with a highlighter because AM asked him a direct question specifically about men, and he had to bring women into it some sort of way. Some sort of way.
Didn't I say that earlier?
Some sort of he worked women in there where there were no women.
The question was about women because you're benevolent.
No, it wasn't.
Women. Was it?
No. Hey, no. If you're talking about the men, right? If you're talking about the men,
who are men to be benevolent too, bro? Who is it men are supposed to be benevolent too, bro?
I literally said in the statement, are all men benevolent? That statement is a comparison amongst men. It's not a comparison amongst men or women. And you just said, who are they being benevolent to? So by your own assertion, I wasn't including women.
So because all men aren't perfect, we should break the order of men.
No.
Well, there you go. Hush the fuck up with this benevolent shit.
Here's the thing. You said benevolent.
No one else did.
Benevolent. And I asked you, I said, are all men benevolent? No, we know all men are not benevolent because power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Yes or no?
I agree with that statement.
Okay, so if you have a law or you have a structure where men have total control over their women, the end result is going to be what?
Actually, we had that and men built the world.
We are having trouble answering it directly.
No, men having control built the fucking world.
That has nothing to do with the women.
That has everything to do with the women. Men
why do you keep including the women?
Led to men building the world.
We're talking about patriarchy. Why do you keep talking about the women?
Because patriarchy literally is controlling ownership of the women.
No, it's not. No, it's not. That's not what patriarchy. Hold on for a second. Patriarchy is not about controlling women. That is a feminist talking point.
It's a huge part of it.
It's not. You can Google it.
Bro, check
you can literally look up the definition.
The actual definition of patriarchy is simply that a man passes down his property and his name to his son. The lineage of humans is through the men. That is literally the definition of patriarchy. So when you look at patriarchy is about us. If we marry a woman, the woman takes our last name. Our firstborn son receives our legacy and whatever they inherit. That's literally what patriarchy is. It is the lineage recorded through the men. That's what patriarchy is. When you start talking about patriarchy controlling women, that's the feminist definition of patriarchy. So when you're sitting here trying to argue about, well, if you take away the control, you're dismantling patriarchy. That ain't even a goddamn definition of patriarchy.
Can I give it to him? Can I give him the actual definition?
Yeah, you can, but let me just say this real quick.
Go ahead.
If men were a damn creature that, matter of fact, let me put it this way. If you took a bunch of men and you put them on an island and there was no women there, they would still build shit. It ain't got nothing to do with the damn women, bro. That has nothing to do with the women.
How do you know that's your son?
I'm gonna make it even.
No. How do you know that's your son on that island?
I'm gonna make
your hut to your son now.
I'm gonna make it more substantial.
Conservative. Let wrestler go.
I'm gonna make it even more substantial, G, right? Because we're talking about the patriarchy in terms of how it is for white men. I'm gonna go over to Africa. Key aspects of patriarchy in Africa: social and family structure. It says the power is traditionally vested by the male elders who act as the head of households, custodians of culture, lineage, and of course the tracing back to the father's side of the roots. They have a whole economical side of it. They got a whole freaking gender roles. They got a whole freaking cultural structure and reinforcement, and what the impact of that system actually is. Keep in mind, you've been talking so much about what it means to be patriarchal in white society, even in black society, in Africa, because we're black men that happen to be up here. It follows the same fucking structure. Nothing?
The wrestler, this is where it gets even worse. This is why
Wait, are you telling me the basic precepts of patriarchy are not colored? They're not bound, no color scheme?
They're not.
No,
which is my point, right? Stop arguing as if the white man has some special, unique thing.
You're the one that talked about the white man.
You the one that brought it up.
Y'all bring it up as if y'all hear me out. Y'all bring it up as if he did something wrong. Y'all bring it up as if he did something wrong.
You did that. You literally did that.
You keep acting as if you need to create this black patriarchy, but you just read from the African roots of African patriarchy.
Which means that patriarchy is
exactly the same as the white shit.
The difference between white and black in the fucking patriarchy.
You just read that it's actually it's very much the same. So how you want a whole uniquely black thing when it's all the same shit? And I'm saying don't reinvent the wheel.
Conservative, you're taking the white woman's victimized position within white man's patriarchy and you're trying to apply it to black men.
I'm saying she wasn't victimized.
Okay, but that's the thing.
Believing that white woman's lies.
Right, but I'm not saying that. But that's the feminism. This is the feminism.
The woman that used to own.
Hold on, wait. I'm not arguing. I'm not yelling. I'm not arguing. Wait. I'm not arguing. I'm not yelling. What I'm saying is that men of today, within these arguments, these DMP conversations, these relationship conversations, everything that's going on within this new form of pseudo manospherisms, right? What's happening today is this. Why I asked you earlier, how is victimhood a part of masculinity? Because it's not. Because the feminism argument that a lot of men are using today, when it comes to what societal expectations from women and from government, you're taking the victimized position, and you want to be treated specially because of what someone else either did or got. This is why I said this to you earlier. I just want you to know that.
Let me ask him something.
Go ahead.
So, hood conservative, we're talking about patriarchy, and my man just established, and you said you agree with that patriarchy is a universal structure across different races, right?
For the most part, yes. There's not a lot of.
Now, you also made the assertion that part of the patriarchy is the control of the women, right?
Yeah, it's not all, but it's a part. Because how do you know
part of it? Okay, cool. It's part of it, right? Now, you also said that it's the patriarchal structure that has given us the ability to build shit, right?
Again, yes.
Okay, so also, most civilizations was built with slave labor. Should we go back to having slavery?
No. I mean, if shit
So we
falls
made an adjustment.
No, hold on. If society collapses, slavery will come back tomorrow. So that's just that's the order of like development. Like humans do.
How confident are you
humans,
of that fallacy happening?
Humans do that to each other because that's what people are.
You're killing your own argument. I hope you know that.
What?
You're killing your own argument. I hope you know that.
No, I'm saying that slavery is a part of the human developmental cycle. Like everybody goes through that, I guess. Is what I'm saying.
Okay. So you're making the argument. You're making the argument right now that slavery was a part of the development of humanity. But in the current state of humanity that we're at right now, we have made adjustments to get away from slavery. So again, we go back to my original point. The same way our structure and culture building and civilization building may have had slavery as a part of it, but as we develop and improve, we lose that part of it. Why do you think it's impossible for us to develop and improve patriarchy?
I don't think what you're arguing has been arguing of develop and improve. You're saying that we started out saying white man patriarchy was one thing, black men need to create their own thing. Now we've got to the point of agreeing that patriarchy in general is a universal concept for the most part. Now that we're at that part, I don't know how much you intend to improve on it when we've lost so much ground to begin with. I don't know if we're at the point of improving. We need to establish, not improve.
Okay, here's the thing. This is why you're maybe you're incapable of seeing what I'm saying. I'm gonna try to explain it again. The same way that we had civilizations that were built with slave labor, and then we've gotten to a place where now we no longer have slave labor. I'm saying to you that we, in the current state that we're in, do not have to use the same patriarchal structure as it pertains to controlling women. What I'm saying is that in this moment can be a new developmental part of our human structure where we improve it. You're acting as if it's impossible to improve upon something.
I'm arguing that literal thing. It's not that I disagree with you, but I'm arguing that because we are what we are as biological creatures, we can only go so far from the mean.
Biology has, look, now you're trying to say that it's biologically, you're trying to act as if
patriarchy is a biological reality, is what I'm saying.
No, you're conflating biology with sociology. You're conflating both.
I'm saying your biology actually does build your sociology to the grand degree of patriarchy. Biology dictates patriarchy.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't necessarily do that. Like, look, here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing. Now what you're trying to say is that basically it is innate. It is in us to control our women. And if that was the case, if it was a biological thing, feminism wouldn't even exist.
Wait, AM, check this out. If it was a biological thing, black people would never be free.
No, exactly. See, this is why I hate when black people do this, because now we're bringing racism into a gender conversation.
No, it makes the point.
You want to make a slave morality argument.
You just said
slave morality with niggas,
you just said a minute ago. The point that he's trying to make, you just said a minute ago, and I know exactly where he's going with it, because you just said a minute ago that slavery is a part of human development. You basically behaved as if slavery is part of our biology. That's why he said that.
Thank you.
All throughout human history, have there been slaves or not?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So
yes.
Is that not? Can you not say that's the thing that people just do?
Did they all go away? Or did there have to be social systems put in place in order for those things to go away?
Those who can do. Those who cannot become slaves.
Answer the question.
That's just what people fucking do.
Let me tell you something. You would have made a great racist pseudoscientist.
Thank you.
Because you're
glad you see my
because what you're doing
recognizing the greatness in me.
you're stepping into the realm of you're getting very close to some people being biologically predetermined to be slaves.
I am not even making a racial argument. You're trying to drag me into a racial argument so this nigga can win a slave morality fight. All I'm talking about is the basic dynamic between male and female in the human species.
I love how you're
all I'm saying is that basic male-female biology dictates patriarchy. Otherwise, what is the purpose of us being bigger, stronger, faster, smarter?
At this point in history, right? The particular topics that you're talking about, you cannot have a conversation about these topics without including race.
It's failing in real time.
You can't talk gender
that
without race. Is your thing? We
not
can't talk gender without race.
Not when you look at the gender and social dynamics of the Black American male. No, you can't.
So
it's weird how you can't make the parallels of how people would turn around and look at race the same way how they would turn around and make those same parallels when it comes to fucking gender. It's weird how you can't make that.
I reject the proposition that because black people used to be slaves, black men cannot at least still.
Black people weren't the only person who was slaves.
The fucking sentence, nigga. Can we at least conceptualize the full extent of masculinity? Does it matter that you used to be a slave or not? No.
Well, I'm gonna ask you some questions.
Hold on for a second. That statement, no, you have to provide context for that statement. You can't.
I'm like, what does masculinity mean for all cultures? All cultures.
It means that those who can do.
Make it that. What the fuck does that mean?
That was the most stupidest shit I've heard all day.
Fucking dumb. What the fuck does that mean?
Because you got slave morality, nigga. That's why you think it's
because I know females who do that.
You're arguing from the position of never being on top, so it's always wrong. But I'm saying
I'm arguing for doing. You've been arguing for the bottom this whole time. What are you talking about?
Exactly. If here's the thing, you just charged him up with always arguing from the position of being at the bottom, right? But my very argument is a patriarchal position from the top, because those in the patriarchal position from the top, we dictate what the environment is. We dictate if you are a man that is at the top of the patriarchal hierarchy, you get to determine how patriarchy is laid out. You get to determine down how the civilization structure is laid out. So if you have a man that is at the top, only men that are at the bottom are going to say, well, we can't change the structure. Why can't you change it? Because you think from the bottom.
The bottom, you're at the bottom.
You think from the bottom. If the same way that they were able to introduce feminism and make that a thing, because prior to the suffrage movement, feminism wasn't a thing. You know who created that? The men at the top. The men at the top.
The men who are in position to make those fucking passes of law.
The men at the top. So the same way I'm sitting here saying to you that if you are a man that's saying that you're free, that's saying that you are not a slave, that's saying that you are patriarchal, you're the head, you're in charge. So how is it you cannot have your own version of patriarchy? You literally have people out here that have invented new genders.
So now
and they're making you acknowledge the shit.
But
they're making you acknowledge the shit.
The fact that you went that far is kind of my point. This attempt to constantly reinvent the wheel is how these motherfuckers start saying that they got new genders. There are no new patriarchies.
Okay, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I use that extreme example to make a point. The reason why I use that extreme example is because you literally have people inventing fictitious shit and then making the fictitious shit legitimate.
And what I'm saying is your new black patriarchy will be also fictitious, just like transgender shit.
No, it wouldn't.
How can I just told you what the black one was.
No, it wouldn't, because those would be two different things, right?
I told you what the black one was.
Those are two different things. In ideology, that is based purely in thought, has nothing to do with a ideology that has to be rooted in biology, right? So when a person decides, okay, you know what, I think there's 26 genders, that's not going to be real because of the simple fact that biology doesn't back it up, right? Is he still there?
Yeah, I'm going. I'm here.
Okay,
So
AM, I don't understand how he can sit there and talk about what a black patriarchy would be when literally Africa's already it's been there.
But you just said that was similar to a white patriarchy, so no need to make a distinction.
No, which means that regardless of where you're thinking about, when you're focusing on white patriarchy, it already exists for us.
But patriarchy's patriarchy. You're the one keep trying to tell me there's some black distinction. When you're
the one that was making distinction from the start.
Same shit though, right?
You're the one who made the distinction from day one.
How come I keep asking you guys to define your black patriarchy?
Hold on, bro. Hold on one second. Right? Let me make this point. So the reason why I use that extreme example is because you have people that will come up with an ideological viewpoint, and then because they have the wherewithal and the freaking audacity to make it a thing, it then becomes a thing. The difference is when somebody says there's 20 some genders, there's no reality to ground that. There's no biology to ground that. However, when you talk about patriarchy is not a structure that has to be backed up by biology. Patriarchy is an ideological view. It's an idea that does not have to be based in biology. The same way marriage, even though people pair bond, which is biology.
Correct.
Marriage is an idea. It's an ideological structure.
Can I correct you, please?
It's a social structure.
Correct.
So guess what? The same way that you have different types of marriage, you can make adjustments to patriarchy. You absolutely can.
Correct.
I hesitate to see what these adjustments would look like, especially as you pointed out, Angry Man, coming from the group who's never known patriarchy to begin with.
Well, no, you don't. You don't.
Angry Man, yes or no?
There are multiple examples.
The white man has had an ownership over his woman that the black man has never had.
There are multiple examples. Hold on. Check this out. Ownership of a woman is not the definition of patriarchy.
Thank you. There are multiple cultures that have multiple definitions and multiple ways of fucking patriarchy. Males doing their own thing. You think because of only here in the Western world, it's the only way it is. You need to expand. You're locked.
So here's the thing, right? So you're conflating what I said earlier. I said the black man in America has never seen what it looks like for the women to have an overall respect for them.
And he went to the whites.
That does not mean that we as men do not understand the concept and structure of patriarchy.
And he went to the whites, which is why I went to Africa.
I don't have to be in a war zone and a soldier in war to understand the concept of war.
If you're going to study war, would you study the losing team or the winning team?
Jesus Christ.
Oh, my God.
I would study both. I would study both.
If you want to model victory, you would do what the victors have done, right?
I would study both.
Why not both?
Because you don't want to do what the losers did, but you want to do what the winners did.
My Lord.
Let me ask you a question.
That's crazy.
Hold on, Hood Servant. Let me ask you a question. Here's a simple question. Has Phil Jackson ever performed like Jordan on the court?
Answer directly, please.
I don't think anyone's performed like Jordan. Right?
Please answer the question.
Okay, so Michael Jordan is considered the GOAT, all of these different things, right? But guess what? Phil Jackson exists. Pat Riley exists. So when you try to make this assertion that the only way that you can understand war is by being in it or studying the winners, that's bullshit.
It wasn't quite my assertion. I'm just saying, if you're going to model yourself after something, even in the context of war, would you model yourself after the winning army or the losing army?
I'm not modeling myself after something. I'm taking a structure. That's not what I'm doing. I'm taking a structure. Right? It's literally, we literally have this concept in this world. It's called standing on the shoulders of others that came before you. I'm literally taking a structure that already exists, like a house that has good bones. I'm taking the structure and then I'm improving upon the structure. You can take the foundation of patriarchy, which would be men building and men doing the things that men do, and you can improve upon that structure. And you acting as if that is impossible is asinine.
Okay, when you say improving on that structure, for example, like when you're improving,
I gave you the example earlier.
Hey, everybody, hold up for 1 second. Everybody, hold up for 1 second. Because I know y'all was just getting it in, but I couldn't hear nothing y'all saying because I had to take a very important phone call. Let me read these super chats right quick. But also, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure y'all support the show. We've been up here for 4.5 hours. We need to get the support up, get the likes up, get the subscribers up, and cash up. So Bad Duck with $5 says, Sir Retard is the one living in a plantation mindset in more ways than one. Andre 420 Reform with 279 says, for some reason I don't hear. Oh, well, that's last super chat. All right, cool. We already. I was one I skipped over. My apologies. Deacon Day with $5 says, Panna, appreciate you. Watch Supreme with $5 says, we love Raw. For Andrew 420 says, hashtag let her talk. Appreciate you. Andre again with $5. He says, salute to the big homie AM. This topic went way off course. The dudes on some blue pill shit. Nah, I ain't on blue. I damn sure ain't blue pill. Bad Duck says servitude or whatever his name is. Tighten your pussy up and quit blaming women for your own problems.
God damn.
That's cold-blooded.
I'm going to give him the example of improvement. I gave it to him before, but I'm going to give it again.
Okay. And an ancient man 5532 with $20 says she is leaving out feminism, leaving out the fact that women were hired over men and the dudes co-signing her are completely clueless. And yes, things are not as bad as she is painting it, even during time of turmoil. Okay, Tips Take with $10. Appreciate you for $10. She said preach Raw. And then we got Bad Duck with $5. He says Raw cooking some ass. Absolutely. To watch Supreme Clips with $10. Preacher for the super sticker. Thank you very much. All right, y'all got it. I'm gonna have to chime back in when I catch on what y'all talking about because I missed everything y'all said. But go ahead.
Yeah, now I'm gonna have to get out of here in a minute. I gotta do my own show too. But let's finish this up real quick.
I ain't gonna lie. It's gonna be a little later.
So the improvement that I'm talking about is what I said earlier, where we as black men can look at the white patriarchal structure and say, okay, we notice that there's a flaw in it. Not with the competing part, not with the building part, but with the part of the absolute control over their women that has caused backlash and an overcorrection. That's how you know it's an extreme, because feminism and what you see today is the overcorrection. Right? So, as a freaking scientist, you would examine that and say, okay, well, how could we improve that aspect of it? Instead of just throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Because right now, what the feminists want to do, and the fact that you would try to say that I'm coming from a feminist perspective is ridiculous, because feminism wants to completely get rid of the patriarchy. I never said anything about getting rid of the patriarchy. I said improving upon it so that we do not repeat the mistakes of the past, because those that don't learn from the past are doomed to repeat it, right? So if we as men say, okay, well, this is how I'm gonna operate, I'm not gonna seek to control my woman by force. I'm gonna control my woman through her consent. Now, y'all are always saying that the man is the prize. If the man is the prize, then that means he gets to dictate the terms. So when you ask me how would men today improve the patriarchy, it would be very simple. Look, this is my program. Get on my program or we can't be together. It's that simple.
Simple.
It's that simple.
Also, C Cantrell, I'm sorry I missed your super chat. She said support the panel, y'all. Appreciate you for the 199. Yeah, hood server. Like, it's nothing against like all the arguments that you bringing. I'm gonna have to go back and catch that last little 5-10 minutes that y'all were just going. But the thing, we Geeksy Boy says, still red pill. Well, here's the thing. This is why I think, and I'm some of y'all may not want to watch the documentary, but this is why I think that that documentary was important, and this is why I titled the show "What They Didn't Film," rather what they didn't talk about. They're only talking about everything that y'all are. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. I would say post 2019. Post 2019 is like everything that you see in media. When they talk about manosphere and they talk about red pill, that's all they're not talking about prior to. Because I'm surprised they didn't even bring up Tommy in this. I'm just like, damn, y'all didn't reach out to Tommy. Y'all didn't reach out to CGA. Y'all didn't reach out to. It's so many different names I could just bring up.
They're trying to paint. I think they're trying to paint a narrative, and Rollo Tomasi's and Tommy Sotomayor's will destroy whatever Netflix has planned.
Yeah, but even when you have like Tommy and Rolo, because they're so backdated, they're back when they were just doing their thing versus PUAs, which weren't really part of the manosphere yet. So they can only run on the parts where it got really hectic, and that just really came with the time of the lockdown.
Well, and this was my point of talking about it. The only reason it got hectic is because it changed from this is a space where men can come and build together to where now this is a space where we could come bash the women. And her conservatives response, he contextualized by saying that we're just men that's speaking up in defense of what it is that feminism did. My thing is, why do you need to defend against something that doesn't affect you? It doesn't.
Well, here's the
thing. Let me say this because I'm going to get out of here. Let me just end this real quick. And thank you to Angry Man, by the way. You're actually a really fun debate partner. I enjoyed this whole thing thoroughly. Whether or not we agree, I appreciate this whole exchange. And I don't disagree with your last statement about improving white patriarchy. I'm firing up the stream. I got to go do my own thing now, but I want to talk more about that idea in my own time. But I don't really think my only disagreement is that I don't think quote white patriarchy is guilty of all the crimes that you're charging it with. But beyond that, guys, y'all have a great day. I will catch you guys on the next one. It's been fun, and I will see you guys later, man. Peace.
Appreciate you, Hood.
Peace.
Yeah, and
appreciate you. Damn.
Yeah, and I enjoy going back and forth with Hood Conservative. I get some of the points that he's making,